It's time for the Double J podplex, where wrestling lives. So man up and step on in. For all your wrestling news and commentary, here are your hosts, Jeremy and Jimmy.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another awesome edition of the show, the Double J Podplex Show. My name is Jeremy, and my co-host, as always, Jimmy.
You know, it's the only show. It's the only show. It's the only show around. You know, all this other. It's the only show. Okay,
It's the only show.
The only show. That's all Uncle Jimmy has to say for the moment. I'll probably be back in a second.
He'll be back. And we have two special guests on the show today, and they are members of our Podplex fan club on Facebook.
Family. Podcast family.
That's
We're
right.
a family in this son of a bitch. All right?
So we have my buddy Cliff.
How are we doing?
We're doing swell, Cliff. We're
Doing great
swell.
because I get to look at you, baby.
Oh, yeah.
And then we have our friend Earl here as well with us.
Here I am. Let's do this. I'm ready.
Here you are, rock you like a hurricane.
Absolutely.
Look,
Let's do it.
that's Earl the Pearl, baby. He's ready. All right, he's ready. He came here prepared.
Ready to
die.
lay
I like
it down.
I'm ready.
Lay it down.
Lay
That's
it
right.
the smacketh down.
So we just watched Great Balls of Fire, the awfully named Great Balls of Fire, and so I guess I'll go ahead and ask this question just to kind of kick it off here. If you had to grade
Get the ball rolling.
get the ball rolling,
Yeah.
to get the LeVar ball rolling.
Oh!
I said it. That's right. I'll put myself on the list.
You know, it's funny you say that, Jeremy. I got in touch with Mr. LeVar Ball not too long ago, and he wanted me to let you know personally that we are the newest affiliate to the Big
Baller
Baller
brand. That's right.
Ow.
And
Yeah.
Do I get free shoes?
well, he wasn't.
I really
That
don't
wasn't
spend
clear
$500
yet.
bucks, I'm
That
just
wasn't
saying.
clear yet. The terms of the deal weren't clear yet.
We should finish
But
this
we're
terms.
part of the family,
right,
so
absolutely.
we are part of the Big Baller brand family.
Close enough.
Hopefully, we'll be better ball players than his son, but that's another story for another day.
Yeah. Yeah.
can
That's
only
a
hope.
whole different podcast in itself. So if I had to, I'm gonna ask each of y'all, if you had to grade the pay-per-view tonight, where would you grade it? Jimmy.
Dude, I'm going for a solid C. Just because I got pissed multiple times.
Okay.
So, you know, that and I was drinking most of the time. So
Well, yeah.
I can't really go much
You
higher
have
than a
to
C.
have adult beverages when you watch WWE pay-per-views, you know.
Yeah, you have to have adult beverages when you
You have
drive too, but they made that illegal. So, you know, I needed to see.
Cliff, what's your grade?
I'd probably have to go with the same. C, possibly even lower than that.
Okay.
It wasn't that great, in my opinion.
Okay.
But as far as I'm concerned, Raw hasn't been living up to the expectations that SmackDown has.
Couldn't agree more.
I mean,
You're
you
right.
don't have
Couldn't agree more.
you don't have the likes of the great AJ Styles.
The phenomenal.
The
Really
phenomenal.
does nothing. I don't know why we're comparing it to that, but anyway, continue.
Yeah, this is actual silence.
Oh, because he's got nothing. That's right. Anyway, so I give it a B minus. And
Okay.
the reason I upgraded to a B is because a lot of things happened in it that you didn't expect to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You thought at least at some point somebody that was not supposed to win was going to lose. That never happened. So they kind of kept the suspense, kept you on your toes,
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't really play out the way you thought it was going to play out. So it was better than a C. It's definitely not an A.
No,
Absolutely no way. Yeah.
Like,
I don't think any of us here are thinking it.
No.
That's
Yeah.
why it's a B minus. Because it was better. It was better than you thought it was going to be, and a lot of things happened that you didn't think.
For an inaugural pay-per-view.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Especially the
yeah.
first time out. Yeah.
I tell you what, the hype about it, for it being just Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view, was very good.
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
hype with, especially with Samoa Joe and Lesnar, the hype was there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know that it lived up, but the hype was there. The hype was there, so they did their job in promoting.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this:
I
the WWE always does a phenomenal job with doing their promos.
That's what UFC
Yes.
started to do now.
Yes.
UFC starting to live up to that.
The promos alone will get me hyped for a match, even if I'm not anywhere near interested in it.
We could sit here, drink a couple beers, and just watch promos all night.
Seriously.
And it'd be just nothing but
Absolutely.
enjoyable. Actually, we probably will do that during the next podcast.
Very possible.
will.
We should. Well, I mean, I may not be there, but we should.
You'll be there in spirit and in my heart.
Cool.
All right?
That's all that matters.
Yeah. We're going to go on that hiking trip one day. Anyways, Mr. Bergeron, how did you feel about the pay-per-view?
I'm gonna go see.
You going to see?
Go and see.
So it's an average of, I don't know how averages work. It's an average of C+, right? It's like an average of C+.
Something like that. Yeah, close enough.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know. Maybe, somebody could tell me how to do averages. I didn't really go to school.
I don't know
So,
how to add B's and C's, but I'm with you.
Not a big fan of the average.
no, that's how average. That's how algebra messed me all up.
I'm a fan of majority rules.
You know what happened?
Yeah.
Algebra actually took me to destination. Fuck!
You love that, don't you?
I love
it.
it so damn much, man.
love
I'm very happy that I'm
but-
going to light into this. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, first match.
Yeah, the first match was the pre-show match, which was between Neville and Akira Tozawa.
And myself and my co-host Jeremy were actually in a pizza line, so we actually did not see the match.
We were getting Little Caesar's Pizza
Yes.
when this match was going on.
Yeah.
So we,
Yeah.
we didn't really miss much from what I understand.
Right. Well, you don't have Austin Aries now. So,
I thoroughly enjoyed it. But, I have a little bit different taste than the normal WWE viewer because I'm a little more into the wrestling scene.
True.
So I like to see the wrestling aspect. However, I feel as if the Cruiserweight division is lacking the story
absolutely.
that the rest of the WWE nation has.
Well, yeah, the one thing I've said time and time again is it sucks that they can't leave the Cruiserweight division. You can't have any type of real big-time matchups because they're stuck in their own little division. Having a Cruiserweight Championship makes all the sense in the world, but having a division, I don't like it. I mean, supposedly that's why Austin Aries is no longer there, because he wanted to leave or be able to compete outside of the Cruiserweight division.
Well, here's my thought on that. So, being someone that's not into it as you are, and seeing what I saw after the SmackDown we went to, on a bunch of dark matches, and then here you have a championship match in the pre-show for pay-per-view. It's almost like they set the cruiserweight division up for failure, because you can't have anything amazing or fantastic happen when the majority of your audience is not watching.
They created a ceiling for the performance.
Yeah, so you can only
sure.
go so high.
Yeah.
So why that's not the opening match in a pay-per-view, I have no idea, because it should be.
Mm-hmm.
Because, let's be real, that match could have taken the place of Seth Rollins and Bray Wyatt.
Well,
Because that match meant nothing. It happened for absolutely no reason to further any storyline.
It definitely felt like a forced feud with Bray Wyatt and Seth Rollins.
So why wasn't that match in the pre-show? And then...
Because after all, the Cruiserweight Championship was for the championship.
Absolutely.
So
So
why
why
is
isn't
that a
that in the
pre-show?
pay-per-view?
Yeah,
Very
great
good point.
Why isn't that in
Damn
the
good
pay-per-view?
point.
It
Very good
doesn't
point.
make any sense.
And also, I want to let everybody know that's listening at home, whether you're on the road, whether you're in New Zealand, whether you're in Destination Fuck. I want to let everybody know that the beers that you're hearing opened are actual beers. It's not sound effects.
No, it's not.
These are actual
we're
beers.
having a good time for this podcast. It is actually,
And we hope that
Double
you
J's
are as well.
anniversary. It's Double J's 5-year anniversary. So we would like to, congratulate ourselves on that. And we're not going away, so you might as well get used to it.
Right, yeah. We ain't going nowhere, dog.
So back to my point. So the match was great, and it went well, but it goes back to my point where you feel like somebody's going to beat somebody at some point, and it never happened. And for a while there, Neville was going to lose, or at least you felt that way.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he wins. It's like, oh well, duh. And then now the pay-per-view starts. That just seems dumb, and I don't know why they do that. Because the Bray Wyatt Seth Rollins thing that we're going to talk about
Yeah.
definitely was not better than the Neville match.
Right,
I don't know
okay.
why- I don't know why we're doing this.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, that makes a whole hell of a lot of sense. I mean, you're not only not featuring the Cruiserweight division to even make them
Yeah, you're not
bigger
giving
than
them
what
a
they
chance.
are. Yeah, to me, in the beginning when Triple H created the Cruiserweight Classic, that was awesome. That was incredible.
Yeah.
Had a couple A+ matches. I mean, really good. But after that, the Cruiserweight title, that's cool.
Yeah.
But making them their own thing and making 205 their show, that just doesn't make any sense.
No, because it's all fair.
Yeah, they're acting like they're different than the rest of the roster.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't understand that. Why not make it exist? All you gotta do.
It's an unnecessary boundary.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, without a doubt.
Weighing under 205 pounds.
Who cares?
Yeah.
But that's fine. All right, cool. So you say they have to weigh under 205 pounds. That's fine. But why are we keeping them out of the limelight? Why are we keeping them out of the headlines?
Absolutely. I mean, the biggest they were in the limelight was when you had Neville and Austin Aries. That was when it was a big-time feud, and it felt like it.
Right. But they were still, at that point, wrestling at times when no one else was watching, right?
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. And it also, it's to the point, it's just like, well, who's your big-time players in the Cruiserweight division? Like, even with Austin Aries.
Yeah.
You had him and Neville. Maybe Rich Swann. Like, there's just a bunch of question marks in the Cruiserweight division. So, that's where I guess I'll leave off at.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Cruiserweight division now, it's like when we went to, or I was at Raw with, people.
Well, I was there with you, but we weren't sitting next to each
I
other.
was supposed to go to that Raw, and I didn't. Long story, I'll explain later.
Explain that, yeah.
Yeah, Jeremy told me I couldn't sit at the cool kids table. So, I went and sat in Destination.
Yeah, that's right. I was.
That's the third time.
Third time.
If you're wondering.
But no,
I
I
hit
remember,
12.
But I remember going to the Raw, and when the Cruiserweight match started, people were getting up to go smoke a cigarette, go to the bathroom. It's like
it's become the new women's match.
It has, and I just think they.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I guess it's kind of hard to put into words, but it's like they don't.
They dropped
do
the
enough
ball.
with it.
I think it was my humble opinion, and I think it was an idea by Triple H that Vince okayed, and then after it became a success, or this and that, Vince just kind of didn't care about it. After he got the popularity of the Cruiserweight Classic and this and that, I don't think he gave a damn about it anymore. And it's definitely something that he doesn't back as much as everything else in the show. Otherwise, it'd been a higher priority. So that's my hell. That's my 4 cents.
Now, to give credit to the women's matches, they are much better now than they were 5 years ago.
Oh God, yeah, it's night
leaps and bounds.
So it's not even that the Cruiserweight is not as good as the women. It's just that the women have upped their game.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And the Cruiserweight is a new thing that they don't pay attention to, nor do they give any credit to.
Right.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's not enough storyline to.
But they don't allow the storyline. They don't allow enough time.
Yeah.
They have no time.
For
They
instance,
have zero time.
why is the Cruiserweight division only on Raw? Why couldn't it be on both shows? And I know SmackDown's a 2-hour show. I understand that. But why is it designated to a short time slot on Raw?
That's a good question.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't.
So
yeah, I agree.
there's a lot of flaws
But
with
at
that.
that point, you'd have to have a Cruiserweight division in Raw and a Cruiserweight division in SmackDown.
Well, in their thought process,
Because
obviously, what
Well,
they're
that's true. 'Cause
thinking,
they split up the whole. That's right. That's right.
obviously they're thinking they have 205 Live, but the fact of the matter is the only people that are going to watch 205 Live are the people that are into that type of wrestling,
And the people who are in the arena, and it comes on after SmackDown.
Right.
and
So,
or
like
they
we did,
own a subscription to the WWE Network.
Yeah,
Right.
and they care
Which
enough
you
to
can
continue
get.
watching.
For
$9.99.
Okay.
Start your free 30-day trial today.
There is a
Yes.
30-day trial. We heard about that earlier
Yeah.
tonight. And so here's the question.
That's our plug.
Here's an unrelated question. So they were talking about the free 30-day subscription on the pay-per-view tonight. But who else was watching this if you didn't already have a subscription to the WWE Network?
That's always bothered me a little bit too.
Okay, I'm just throwing
You
it
know,
out.
I don't know if it's like if they figure somebody has the
Maybe people are hanging out at someone's house. That has
right.
it?
That to me, I guess that's the only way it would make sense because obviously, I think it's a rarity if you're watching a pay-per-view that you're watching it by yourself.
It's very true.
I don't know if I've ever watched a pay-per-view by myself.
Very true.
Maybe if I was hungover or
Sick. Really
I was gonna
tired.
say boning, but then I wouldn't be by myself.
Yeah,
so
it's very true. Lazy.
Well,
not that she was watching. Not that she
You
was
might be by
watching.
yourself.
She was facing the wall crying. So
Was she made out of plastic? or rubber? I'm sure
it was a good silicone. It was a nice silicone.
Oh, those are the good ones.
Those are the good ones, man. That's the ones the little Japanese men got.
Come on, man, with modern day robotics.
Oh, dude.
You never know.
Oh,
You never know.
they can play with your dinghy.
All right.
Moving right along away from the pre-show.
But you know what you could play with? Some custom vapors. You can play with that.
You know, I heard that. I heard that there's this great guy who owns Custom Vapors. My good friend.
My
Jason,
good friend, too.
Your good friend as well, who I was actually with last night. We had a great time. He was drinking behind the bar, which is, I don't know if you want that in your drink beverage professional, but that's perfectly fine. But anyway, he owns a great place called Custom Vapors.
Which is conveniently located at 1928 Williams Boulevard in beautiful
downtown Kenner, Louisiana.
Downtown Kenner, Louisiana.
Paying the bills, baby.
Kenner, bro.
So, if you want, to go get a custom vape, some juice, or whatever it may be, if they are your one-stop shop.
They have this new one that Jason was telling me about last night, this new juice. And it's two parts, okay? One of them is a green one, and that is of course, booty juice. That's obviously what that is.
Booty juice.
The other one is a red, and that's actually referred to as the tropical booty meat.
Wow.
And I'm sure that just ensures that you ain't booty, correct?
Couldn't have said it better.
Couldn't have.
To ensure, you ain't booty.
You ain't booty.
But moving right along, we did talk briefly about Bray Wyatt and Seth Rollins, and to be honest, it doesn't really require us to go too much detail about it. It was basically, to me, a match that you put together two big name stars, and kind of rushed the feud along, and made it something that it really, or tried to make it something that it really wasn't. Was it smart to make Bray Wyatt win the match? Absolutely, in my opinion.
Yes.
But yeah, I just realized what I did. And it was smart to have Bray, take it home. But yeah, what do y'all think, Mr. Bergeron?
I think, just like what you said, the feud was kind of rushed. Just didn't seem like there was not much substance behind their feud, and I don't want to say the match, but mainly just the feud. Mm-hmm. Just seems like they're just kind of doing this ongoing thing, like with Stroman and Reigns. The ongoing, like, okay, well, what's...
You were hoping that eventually the match would get to a certain destination, but it never reached destination fight. Do we even need to say more about this match?
Yes, I have things to say.
Good, okay, good.
So here's my thoughts. So regardless of the feud that may or may not be happening, it seemed to be a throwaway match. Mm-hmm. I think I said that earlier. And I don't understand why it happened, nor do I understand why it was in this pay-per-view, because it was a great match. It was a good match. And it went well, but nothing relevant happened.
Right, it was nothing.
So what was the point? This is totally something that could happen on Raw tomorrow.
Oh, absolutely.
Why are we doing it tonight?
Exactly.
Why are we wasting time doing this match tonight when we could have done this match tomorrow night on Raw?
Right, there was nothing.
And we could have put the Cruiserweight Championship on the line during the pay-per-view. That was my problem with it, is that they were just it was totally a throwaway, and they were just wasting time. It was almost as bad as, before we get there, the cute little match they did with the ambulance fiasco after that happened, that ended while no one was watching it.
Oh, yeah. We don't even have that written down as a topic.
Why are we doing that? Why are we doing this Bray Wyatt match? It doesn't make any sense.
I'll say this.
It's totally unnecessary.
I'll say this. I am not a huge Bray Wyatt fan. Really? However...
Yeah, but he has a great character that can develop into something really good.
Oh, yes. I am not. However, there are a hell of a lot more people in the WWE today that I hate a lot more than Bray Wyatt. Okay. And I will say this. Bray Wyatt and Seth Rollins are two of the WWE's biggest superstars today.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And but they're not. If they were, they wouldn't be in the first match in a mean nothing match on an obscure pay-per-view for the first time.
This is my point. I feel as if Bray Wyatt, since he lost the title, he has been in limbo.
Yes.
Yeah.
They want to... They obviously want to involve Seth Rollins and Bray Wyatt, but they don't know how. So what do? They end up just throwing something together, and it looks sloppy like
it was
terrible.
Tonight. Well, but it was a good match, but it
was still terrible.
More to your point, you look at the guys that they had in the main event scenes. Talking about Stroman, talking about Samoa Joe. They have just become main event guys. Okay? not saying Samoa Joe wasn't always in my mind, but I'm saying they've just become in the main event of Raw. And therefore, people like Seth Rollins and Bray Wyatt are kind of swept to the side for a minute.
Yeah.
And that sucks, but, this is, I guess, a problem of having a pretty damn good roster.
Well, this is the thing. I think that the creative writing department of the WWE should put more focus into these side projects and a little bit less on the main event. Obviously, they nail the main event most of the time.
But the main event has a lot of momentum to begin with.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you need to neglect everyone else.
Right.
Why not make a complete show versus having your audience sit there during the show saying, well, I can't wait until this, final match.
Or you can't wait until this match is over, whichever one you're watching at that point, such as the Seth Rollins and Bray Wyatt match. You're sitting there and you're just waiting for it to end because it means nothing.
Right.
Why are we putting matches that mean nothing on a pay-per-view? That doesn't mean it
didn't even seem as a credible feud.
Yeah, it was out of place. It came
from
nowhere,
forced.
seemingly.
It seemed forced.
It seemed forced. It seemingly came from nowhere. Why are we doing that? And even, I got nothing. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. We totally understand what you're saying here. Just the match was forced, and it just seemed kind of out of place a little bit.
Someone got an email, by the way.
Nice. But so Bray Wyatt won that one. Good for him. He seems like he's been losing every goddamn match he's been in.
But no, I agree. It was as far as the creative writing. I don't think they gave this even the time of day. I think they thought the names were big enough. The names are big enough, but I don't think they gave time of day. I don't think they did enough work on it. I think they pushed a feud. They didn't put any type of thought in why these guys are even really going at it. I mean, just because.
I have one final thought on this topic, and that thought is short and simple. I can't wait for Triple H to move on up. Because NXT is amazing.
Dude,
and I can't wait to see what he does with the main rosters.
Oh, yeah.
We've seen shades of it. We've seen shades of it. Triple H is definitely behind the rising of Kevin Owens and the rising of AJ Styles. There's no doubt in that. He's behind getting them here. He's behind getting Shinsuke Nakamura here. There's shades of what Triple H could do. But then you have matches such as the main event and such we saw tonight, which we're obviously going to get to a little later, that has Vince's fingerprints all over it.
Oh.
And, that's certainly something I'm sure we will hint at multiple times.
Yes. So we had the next match after that was Big Cass versus Enzo Amore.
Right.
My favorite match of the night.
Okay.
Really? Why was that your favorite match of the night?
It was my favorite match of the night because I still think they are the two best characters in the WWE right now.
Ooh, and that's a hot take. I like that.
And they broke them up, and now they need to fight. I also thought that Enzo was going to win, and he didn't. More the reason my B- grade. It played out how it was supposed to play out.
Definitely.
Even if that's not the way you thought it was going to play out, it played out the way it was supposed to play out, because if they're going to develop Big Cass as a heel, he's got to beat a bunch of people that everybody loves, and if he's going to be anything that sustains for a long time, he has to beat a bunch of people that everybody loves, so everybody hates him. Cup of haters.
Just to let you know, hashtag hate'ems is now trending worldwide.
Yes, it is.
I saw it. I just checked the Twitter.
Yeah.
The tweeter.
It's on the Twitter.
We
got here a cup of haters.
The tweeters.
You know what else is actually trending worldwide? Hashtag
Destination 5. Yeah, there you go.
Yes. So hold on. So that match to me was the best one, because it actually developed a storyline, and it actually had something that will last and will continue through time.
Right.
For a little while, whether it's a month or 2 months or 3 months or however long. The Big Cass angle, I'm digging it, because he could totally be that new really big villain. Since we've had the Big Show, or you can't even include the gender guy.
Jinder Mahal.
Yeah, Jinder Mahal.
You can't include that damn Jinder guy.
No, you can't include him because he's different. Because people hate him because of who he is, not because he's big. But they can, Big Cass.
Right, not
he's
because
this big guy that just takes over
yeah,
everybody.
Yeah.
So I think it's wonderful, and I think it's a great. They're planting the seeds for this to grow into this wonderful storyline of him being this new heel, and Enzo is going to become this huge crowd favorite. So
I think he's already got that. He's already got that down.
Well, he's going to continue to grow even bigger.
Right, but I definitely agree with that. For them to turn Cass heel and for them to get Enzo to the point where he can be, this had to happen. And if you heard, which some of us did, some of us probably started smoking, but if you heard Big Cass on the Raw Talk afterwards, he was great. This is a guy who could barely pick up a mic and utter a sentence back in NXT. Yeah. This is now a guy who is going to be a credible heel.
Absolutely.
And is going to be big for a long time.
Yeah.
His development, especially his development alongside Enzo, has been nothing short of just outrageously great. And he is going to be the next big guy. Enzo, man, there's real big things on the horizon for him.
Dude, there are big things.
Yeah, both of them are going to blow up.
Dude,
one's going to go this way, one's going to go that way.
And at what point they're going to get back together and they're going to win the damn WWE Tag Team Champions.
Absolutely.
Just not now. And they have to develop it.
And one of them may have the Universal Championship, one of them may have the Heavyweight Championship, one of them may have the Intercontinental Championship. When they get back together, each of them are already going to have a belt. And then they're going to win the Tag Team Championship. Write it down on paper.
Damn.
Wow. When it happens.
Damn, I like that.
Calling the shot.
I like that, man.
I'm just saying. It's going to happen
because
they're both
in the center field.
Yeah, they're both going to blow up.
I tell you what, though.
There's
it
no
really
reason for
ticked
not.
me off. I feel like they had plenty enough time to get these guys in there. I mean, they're obviously a crowd favorite.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if anybody was more over.
They should have had the title at least once.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree.
At least
and
once.
to be honest, I thought they were going to win at Mania had it not been for the Hardy Boys coming out.
I agree.
Who the hell's... Are you kidding me? Of course the Hardy Boys will win.
See?
Once that music hit, I was like, well, there goes the title.
They won.
Yeah.
See, but they haven't won, so it makes them more of an underdog. So as they continue to go on the upward rise, they're still the underdog because they never won. They never got that. They never got
when it gets towards the end of
now
their
it's
career,
my time.
or when it gets towards just a couple years down the line, what's the one thing they haven't done? Win the Tag Team Championship.
Exactly.
And then it's a
Come
reason to get back together.
Exactly.
Right. It's an easy bridge.
Yeah, absolutely.
To get back.
I'm going to go ahead and ask a question for all you guys here. Do you think it would be a very bold statement to say that Big Cass has potential to become like another Triple H in the sense that, he was, okay, Triple H was part of DX. Mm-hmm. Once him and Shawn Michaels, went their separate ways, he just became big,
He was big before that.
But
he got much bigger.
Well, yeah.
He got much bigger after the split, but Triple H really started to become, and I agree with you, but Triple H started to become really big after Shawn Michaels got hurt. When Shawn Michaels got hurt and Triple H had to be the face of DX.
And I think this is kind of like, Shawn Michaels getting hurt is to, them splitting,
Yeah, I agree.
Or like the Rockers, they're split up and Shawn Michaels went up.
Well,
I think this could be a very
right. Oh, absolutely.
But I think this will be
this may be
a great opportunity for Big Cass to shoot up.
Quickly.
But
yeah,
they're both
and with his size,
and
the dude's a heavyweight and moves like a cruiserweight.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Big Cass could do, no pun intended, big things.
Big things, yeah.
In WWE, you throw it out there.
The thing about Enzo too, the only worry I have with him. Enzo is a tremendous speaker. Enzo can be on the mic all night. I'll sit there and listen to him all damn night.
He's the best
promo
right now.
he cut, you're going to be looking back at that promo years down the line. And
the one on Raw he did the other night.
The one on Raw the other night was, well, yes, dude, Enzo is great. But the one tonight, to me, is like a staple of him moving forward. I think that is going to be something we look back on and say that's when Enzo became Enzo.
Well, and that's because he has a Mike Saber for a
hater.
Well, the thing about Enzo is he's so great on the microphone, so he's already a fan favorite.
Right.
All right. He's great in the ring, so that makes him even more of a fan favorite. he's now going to be an underdog because his boy left him, and his boy's really big.
The underdog thing helps him.
And his boy just beat him.
Yeah.
So now he's an underdog, so everybody loves him even more. So that's 3 reasons to love Enzo. So Enzo's going to blow up. Big Cass is going to blow up because everybody hates him. And that's how that works.
That's right.
And then ultimately... Like
love him or hate him, you're paying attention.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
Love him or hate him, you're paying attention to him, for sure.
What do they say? Any news is good news or something like that?
Yeah. Any publicity, bad, still publicity, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
But as far as Enzo goes, I do want to get back on the fact of I think he's good in the ring. I don't think he's great in the ring yet. I think
he doesn't need to be great.
Exactly. He doesn't need to be because he's that good on the mic. But he is a performer. He can do it. But depending on who he feuds with down the line, I'm not talking about Big Cass, but he could feud with people, and I don't want to toot AJ Styles as horn, but people on that level. Maybe AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, maybe Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, but all those guys are on SmackDown. It's not going to help him.
No. But I'm talking about just in general. Just in general, guys that are just really good at their craft. Really good at their craft. I think that they can push him to that limit and prove that Enzo can be a top dog.
That is the good thing because the WWE does have several
They
talents.
have so many great talents
that can make other people look good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely, man.
And Big Cass and
look what AJ Styles did with freaking Shane McMahon and Mania. That was not a bad match. AJ and Shane had a hell of a match.
That was surprisingly a good match.
And look at what Chris Jericho has done for years.
Oh, yeah.
Making other guys look good.
Still does. He doesn't even wrestle right now.
Right.
He's doing Fozzy. He's still doing it.
But no, I love Enzo, man. It was a great match. I was a little worried at how they were going to portray it. I thought they portrayed it perfectly. This is one time that I will openly admit that WWE did not drop the ball.
No, absolutely not.
Yet, but as of right now, they did not.
Yeah.
So
no, this is going to lead to good things. You can tell, and based on the track record of the WWE, that it's going to lead to good things. And we'll go from there and see what happens. And hopefully it's as wonderful as we think it may be.
Well, my next point or the next fact or whatever the hell you want to call it, we're going to bring up, and I'm going to ask Mr. Clifford's opinion on it first.
Do it.
Oh yeah, we're going to Cliff first.
Oh, Cliff's going to speak.
Oh, Cliff's ready. Cesaro and Sheamus versus the Hardy Boys 30-minute Iron Man match. Of course, Cesaro and Sheamus being the victors. Cliff, how are you feeling about the fact that Cesaro and Sheamus won the way they did? And also, a second two-part question: is the referee going to be fired after the match? Is he no longer an employee of the WWE?
I don't even know if I should start.
Okay.
Because I don't know if I could finish. We might be here all night on this one topic.
I will say finishing has never been a problem of mine.
That's what she said.
Only on Tuesdays.
Ba-doom.
You know when she was saying that? When I was taking her to destination fucked.
We need a ticker, ladies and gentlemen.
5.
We need a ticker.
5, 6.
6.
I told you I'm going to hit 12.
6.
We have many matches to go.
There.
Okay, first point, I did think the match was great up until the point that the referee just basically sent the match into Destination Fox.
Good accent. Good accent. 7. You know, you rarely ever, like you're saying, you rarely ever see a ref make a mistake like that big.
Since I've been watching wrestling again, since I've gotten back into it, been watching it with Jeremy and you and Earl here, that is the first time I've seen a ref mess a match or a call up that bad. And then we go further on into the match to where it's a pin for the win, and he totally botches that too. He counts a point to Cesaro and Sheamus, and it wasn't even the man.
Right, he wasn't the legal man.
He wasn't even the legal man.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
I haven't seen the replay, but I'm pretty sure he got tagged in.
I don't think so.
I think he did. I think he got tagged in, then he got hit off of the apron, ended up on the ground. Everything else happened. Then he came back in and pinned him. I haven't watched the replay, but I think that's what happened.
Well, you know,
I hope that's what happened.
Right. However, I think it was a bad idea to not give Hardys the title. I don't think it may be a good idea if indeed they are splitting the Hardys up and they are starting the broken gimmick with Matt Hardy, which is going to happen at some point. Okay, yeah, sure. It's going to happen.
I mean, it's crazy. So,
but you know, if that's the reason for not giving them the titles back, it makes perfect sense. However, I don't know, man. I would I'm trying to think of the best way to put it. I would rather see the Hardys with the titles right now than Cesaro and Sheamus. And it's nothing against what they've done, but it's, you know. give it back to them, man. Like, they're the best tag team, arguably, in WWE history.
Yeah.
Okay, so give it back to them.
My biggest beef with the entire Cesaro and Sheamus thing is that they're not a tag team. They're two dudes that happen to be on the same team. They don't have a name. They don't have
Right, they didn't change
their own group.
However, they've done good with what they've been given.
I'm with you, but at some point, like, let's come up with a theme. Like, they wear the same jackets. They got the same thing on their arms.
But why do they not have a team name?
Why aren't we a
I
team?
agree with that. I
that's
think
dumb. That
even when it
ruins
was
the
Daniel
whole...
Bryan and Kane, it was Team Hell No. You know,
Yeah.
it was something.
Yeah.
I agree, man.
heard
I don't.
That ruins the entire thing about the tag team. You're not a team. You just happen to be two people that happen to be on the same team to win these belts. It doesn't make any sense.
When you think of a team that has the titles, like a tag team champion, you think of names. You think of the Usos. You think of the
Heart
Road
Foundation.
Warriors, the
Yeah,
Heart
I'm with
Foundation.
you.
They had names. I agree with that fucking completely. Didn't mean to curse, but completely. That's how much I agree with it. That is a hell of a point because you look at the Dudleys. You know, so many teams are a team.
The Nasty Boys.
Legion of
Let's be
Doom.
real.
Legion of Doom. Look, you have
Road
a
Warriors,
team
if you will.
name. And that's,
Demolition.
That's who you are. Cesaro and Sheamus
Demolition.
are still
Awesome.
Cesaro and Sheamus. At the end of the day, they're still Cesaro and Sheamus.
Right.
Which is, and I agree with you completely, which is an issue.
So they'll only hold on to it for so long. But how many tag teams are there these days?
Well,
you
still have the New Day.
Right.
You know, you still have the Usos.
Which the New Day, by
That's
the
on
way.
SmackDown.
Right.
Yeah.
So
But
it's
I mean,
not
who do
really
you
big.
have?
But still, you got New Day. But on Raw, who do you have?
You got Gallows and Anderson, which they recently turned face, which would be interesting.
It shall.
But I think they're destined to be paired with Finn Balor. I think that's coming soon. That needs to happen.
See, but
If that happens, can we throw some Omega in the mix, please?
Ooh.
Can we throw some Styles in the mix? Can we have a full Bullet Club reunion?
Reunion in the WWE. That's what I would love to see. Personally, I like to see it because of the fact that Finn Balor was leaving when AJ Styles came in to the Bullet Club. I would love to see them actually be together on the same page. I'd love to see them in a match against each other. They're too good of talents, they're too good of characters to not be competing against each other or with each other, such and such. But no, I think the Bullet Club's happening soon. I think Kenny Omega is going to sign with the WWE at some point. I don't think he's doing it yet because his contract's not up. But I don't know how you don't go after him. The way Triple H went after AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, some of the biggest names in the world. The other big name in the world is Kenny Omega. How do you not go after him? I think that's coming. What they do with him after they sign him, I'm not sure. But I wouldn't be surprised. You can mark this one down. I wouldn't be surprised if next Royal Rumble, 30, last entrant, is Kenny Omega and he comes in and wins the damn Royal Rumble.
Wow.
Wouldn't surprise me a bit. Triple H loves him. Stone Cold loves him. Stone Cold is still an advisor, although we don't talk about it often. Stone Cold is still an advisor to the WWE. There's a huge chance that Kenny Omega comes to the WWE. That's where I guess I'm going to leave that. It would be a loss of talent,
Opportunity.
an opportunity if he did not. That's somebody you need to sign.
so my question is, why have they seemingly given up on creating teams for the tag team championship?
That's a really good.
I feel like there are no tag teams.
Well, no.
You have groups of people, and you have guys that get along with other guys, but there's no tag teams. It's just this guy and that guy. Well, okay, we'll fight today. Mm-hmm. Why? Why is that a thing?
That's true.
Why don't we develop more tag teams? Because it's a
Because
fun match to
the
watch.
talent they're bringing in is so solid on their own.
On their own, yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah, but how many people have we talked about that are on their own that aren't respected or don't?
That's very true. That's very true.
So why don't we take some of these people and create an angle with them being together? And
they were able to create an angle with The Miz, adding Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel with him.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
The Miz Taraj.
The Miz Taraj.
Right. The Miz Taraj could be a tag team.
Absolutely. And they may be
not.
leaning in that direction. They may be leaning in
I
that
hope
direction.
they are.
We can only hope
Yeah.
that Mr. Damian Sandow will be coming back to be a part of the Miz Taraj.
Oh, God, would that be great. That'd be fantastic.
That would be great.
One team I do want to bring up before I forget, though, the Revival. The Revival just got drafted to Raw after, not drafted, but came to Raw after Mania. The Revival, I don't remember which member it was, got hurt right afterwards. The Revival, they're a heel team, but they're arguably one of the best tag teams on the planet. So yeah, I mean, I think the Revival would be a contender coming up, but you're not going to see a heel versus heel match. So does that mean Cesaro and Sheamus turn face, or does it mean that they drop the titles at SummerSlam to somebody? You know, we'll have to wait and see.
Well, Cesaro and Sheamus, not Shameless, that's the TV show.
Yeah.
So Cesaro and Sheamus should drop it and should lose because there's no reason for them to hang on to it because both of them have promising individual careers. So why are we tag team champs? It makes no sense.
But getting back to your point, you're talking about guys that maybe are a little not as respected or guys who they don't push as much. That was basically Cesaro and Sheamus for the longest time. So
true.
So should they do more things like that?
Yeah.
Now think about it like this: Cesaro's Swiss, Sheamus is Irish. Could you do the Swiss Celtics or something? This is just
What
ideas.
if you named them Cesaro?
Or Cesaro?
I'm all about
Cesaro.
it.
Sort of like the Golden Truth.
Something.
Right.
Make it
You
a
know?
team. Stop making it because they both came out individually.
I mean, they've already had something similar, the United Nations.
Yeah, but that was garbage.
I mean,
that
I
was-
completely
The
agree with you.
Nations. That was an angle that just fell through, man.
I agree with you.
I actually like the concept of
I love the
idea
concept.
of
I love the
United
concept. The
Nations.
execution
I
just
dug
was
that
not
a
there.
lot.
The execution was not there.
Right.
No, it wasn't. Like, I mean, but as long as they come out individually and then meet each other and do this fancy little thing with all the lights pointing on them, which was kind of cool. But as long as they do that, they're just two guys that happen to be on the same team. Why can't we make something where it's them on a team? You know,
Like a name.
yeah,
Give them a
something.
name, you know,
yeah, be a tag team.
Right.
That's
Don't
a hell
just
of a
be two
point.
guys that happen to have the tag team championship.
That's a hell of a point. That's
a waste of
even,
time.
Even back in the day, you will remember this when Chris Jericho and the Big Show formed a team.
Jericho.
That at least still had a name.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why does Cesaro
and they
and
came out
Sheamus not?
together.
I agree with you.
And it was a
completely.
team.
Y2AJ.
Y2AJ
Even
even
better.
had a name.
See?
Like,
I remember that.
God, that doesn't make any
Absolutely.
sense. So, Jeremy, what I will say, and I have to ask Mr. Clifford something. The next match is Sasha Banks and Alexa Bliss. We will get on that. And I will also get on the fact of how much I love both of them dearly. And if they're listening now, I do live on 2105. Wait, I don't live there. That was my old address. Whatever, go to the old address. I'll meet you there. I want to know if they're walking to their car alone later. I would like to know. But
Why don't you go meet them? Why don't you?
I hope there's limos involved.
Oh, there will be limos involved.
Well, I mean, for them.
Oh, Alexa Bliss is definitely going to pull a page. But Mr. Clifford, I wanted to actually know. Can I grab a beer from your fridge?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Well, Uncle Jimmy's getting up for a second.
I'll take one as well.
All right, you got it. Anybody else? Anybody listening at home? You want a beer?
Oh wait, no, I have one more. Yep. No, I have two more. I'm good. I'm good.
Jeremy's got one in his cooler.
Cliff, you said yeah.
No.
Okay.
I'm drinking the hard stuff tonight, dog.
Oh,
Going hard to pay.
like it hard.
And you can't teach that.
Can't eat that.
We're taking a quick beer break, ladies and gentlemen. Not going to be long at all. Taking the,
That's all right. Hold on, hold
Going to Alexa Bliss and Sasha Banks.
Oh, yeah.
Which, honest to God, man, they put on a show.
Yeah, that was a great
You know,
match.
Yes.
They put on a show, man. You have two
That-
of
that
the
move-
very best women wrestlers on the face of the planet in the same ring tonight.
Dude,
So-
that move
a great show.
Alexa Bliss did earlier with that little
With the broken
flip
arm?
power bomb.
Oh,
that's
great.
okay.
That was awesome.
Oh,
Dude.
dude. When Sasha Banks, what was she doing? She was up against the
rope.
turnbuckles, right?
Yeah.
And, oh, dude. That was legit.
Well, you know, and the thing is, like, when you see, like you said, when Alexa Bliss did that move, you have to have a great partner to do that move.
Right.
And that's why I was able
they pulled it off.
to pull it off that damn well.
Absolutely.
Now, was it the right... This is my question. Was it the right choice to keep the strap on... Ooh, that came out really wrong. Keep the strap on Alexa Bliss.
Was it wrong to keep
Was
it
it
on
the
her?
right move?
Or was it the right
But that's
move?
what, you know... Because, hey, you know, here at the Double J Podplex, we're all about perfection. Okay? We are the perfection. That may be our team name. But
Well, I'll say this: they've kept the belt on her this long so far. I mean that says something.
Well, heels have better title runs.
Yeah,
that's something I think we
it's
all
easier to be a heel.
agree with. Yeah,
yeah.
Because it's more about the climb at that point.
Right.
Damn, we need somebody to beat him. We need somebody to beat her. Whatever. She's done a hell of a job as a heel.
Yes.
So.
The thing that I could say, though, about furthermore on that note is the wrestling, obviously, in the women's division has obviously gotten a hell of a lot better.
Oh, God.
Oh,
yeah.
God, yeah, man.
But, a lot like the Cruiserweight division, the women's division is still lacking that story somewhat. I feel like the women's division is a step above the Cruiserweight division.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I agree.
But it could be, they could do so much more with it.
But it has its moments where it's fantastic.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. There are.
I mean, look at the Charlotte and Sasha
oh,
run.
dude.
That was amazing.
Hell in a Cell. Like, are you kidding me?
Who's
Yeah.
what was the match we saw when we went to SmackDown? It was Charlotte and the black
Natalia.
girl.
Natalia.
Yeah. That was the best match of SmackDown that night we went and saw. Like,
That was a really good
Oh,
match.
they can put on the show.
absolutely. They're
Natalia
great.
has it in her blood, so
They're
does
great.
Charlotte. I mean, it's
Yep.
They've totally taken that next step. They've gone to that next level, and the exciting part is that they're getting the recognition, and they're actually up there in the billing,
Right.
And they're
Right.
getting pushed the correct way, as opposed to the Cruiserweight people,
Right.
all that good stuff. But the women's match tonight was fantastic.
Oh, it was great.
Like you
Yeah.
said, the move in the corner where they, that was wonderful. And then all the stuff that happened after the match. That's something you've never seen before in a women's match.
No,
normally it ends and it's over and they move on.
The iconic thing that they always talk about as far as women's matches, the greatness as far as women's champions and women's, division in general, is always Trish Stratus and Lita. They always refer to Trish Stratus and Lita all the time. One thing I have to say, and this may be another hot take, these girls are way better than Trish Stratus.
Absolutely.
And that's something that's not talked about often enough, or it's almost blasphemous to talk about.
Yeah.
They're way better than them.
Yeah.
Way better, on another level. And they're homegrown. Going back to how great Triple H is and how great he is in NXT, they're homegrown.
It's almost like people are scared to admit it because Trish and Lita were pioneers of their day.
Well, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely they were.
They were the pioneers of the transition.
We got to start somewhere.
But the reason that that these girls became better than them is because they wanted to be like them and they wanted to train like them. And Trish and Lita didn't have any. Who do you want to be better than? Mae Young, like
China.
They were way better than China. But
Yeah,
China was the girl who kind of started like the,
China was different though. China was
exactly.
Would you call China diva?
No,
neither would I.
China was the
So
bridge
that's-
between.
I don't call any of them divas. I
Not
hate that
anymore,
term.
of course not.
Yeah, I never liked that term.
I hate that term.
China was the bridge between the escort and the wrestler. So you had Sonny, you had
Very
Sable,
true,
all those
very
guys,
true.
Miss Elizabeth, everybody. And then it was China, and then, oh, wait, hold on, she's also a wrestler. And now we start into
But
this.
this is-
That's what I'm saying.
division.
China kind of.
No.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. China could take out a WWE male superstar.
Absolutely, but
Okay.
Some of these women today,
But
they
in
ain't
the
got a
world-
shot.
But in the world of WWE, she did.
It was different back then,
That
though.
wasn't a thing. That's not how that worked. How the storylines played out was she bridged from Sonny and Sable and Miss Elizabeth
To being
all them
in the ring.
into Trish and everybody else.
Let's
and,
not
and
forget
now it's
Miss Keebler. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
How can we forget that? Right? So bridge into that, and now we've got these fantastical women wrestlers. Sasha Banks and Alexa Bliss, right? And that was a great match.
It was.
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
You took the names now. See, back then it was Trish and Lita. Period.
Yeah.
They really wasn't all. Stacy was nice to look at, but Stacy was not that great of a wrestler. Neither was Tori Wilson.
No, she was terrible.
Neither was anything else going on.
That's all right.
Now you have girls who, they look good and stuff, but you pay attention to the way they wrestle now.
It's amazing.
You talk about the four horsewomen: Charlotte, Bayley, Sasha Banks, and
Becky
Lynch.
Becky Lynch.
And then, of course, add Alexa Bliss to that. Add, I don't know, whoever, Naomi to it. You have great women wrestlers.
Yeah.
And that is where we're at now. And, as far as the match tonight goes, you extended the feud. I think you extended it longer. And it's now about Sasha Banks climbing the ladder to reach the championship.
And it's only going to get better.
But I do agree about there not being enough feuds in women wrestling.
Absolutely.
I think there's only the championship, which is always very good. But everything else after that really isn't.
Now, can we talk about the way Sasha Banks lost tonight?
Oh, by all means.
Well, I mean, she won, but she lost. So, one of the things that you thought was going to happen tonight, I thought Sasha Banks was going to win, because the whole match made me think that. And then she gets a count out, and she wins,
but she loses.
Yeah. So why is that still a thing? / why is that still an option? I don't understand that. I need someone to explain that.
It's almost like you feel like you get cheated out of.
It's just to promote the heel. That's all it is. Honestly, that's all it is to promote the heel.
And you know what? If that's the case, I'm with it.
Right.
Because they're going to have a rematch.
Yes, and I think the rematch is going to have something to play off of that.
Yeah.
Maybe no disqualification, maybe whatever.
Yeah.
They're definitely setting up for something like that.
Might happen on Raw tomorrow.
Might.
You never know. You never know.
It absolutely might. But I think Sasha Banks and Alexa Bliss are absolutely two of the best in the freaking world, and they put on a show tonight. They did.
Absolutely. Without a doubt.
They were arguably the best match on the card.
No, without a doubt.
Not
without a doubt.
Far as that match is concerned, though, the cameramen, they're the real MVP.
All right. How?
With the shots they were getting.
I mean, Xavier Woods needs to look into that type of workmanship.
Well, actually, Brad Maddox was a hell of a cameraman as well.
Yeah.
So, Brad Maddox is the real MVP.
Yeah, I mean, he got some great shots.
Hey, Brad, look, we love you here at the Double J Podplex. Coming live from the Cliff Cave.
See, but the best part about it is
headquarters.
The best part about it is any camera that is pointed at that ring is getting a great shot, so it doesn't matter.
Speaking of Paige and Brad Maddox and stuff, all Xavier Woods was really doing was inducting her into Destination Fox. So that shouldn't be something frowned upon.
How many is that, Earl?
8.
Eight. That's 8. We're at 8. We're having a great time here tonight. We're happy for all of you.
I mean, up, down, down. It doesn't matter.
Left, right, A, B. Start. All lives. But moving right along, Mr. Bergeron, I'm going to shoot at you for the first question. The Miz and Dean Ambrose had a good Intercontinental Championship match. I wouldn't say great yet. I think greatness is coming for both of them. Two-parter. Did they make the right decision keeping it with the Miz? I think I know the answer. And how do you feel about the newly formed Miz Taraj?
Well, I think they did make the right decision keeping the belt on him. I mean, people seem to love the Miz, and you know what? I'll be honest. I'm not really big on the Miz, but at the same time, he makes the perfect heel. And I can respect that.
Yes. Well, the thing is, for you to dislike him, do you dislike him because he's a heel, though? Because that means he's doing his damn job very well.
That's the point. That's what I'm getting at. He makes a great heel, and he's doing his job.
Yeah.
He can't do it any better.
I mean, we all love Dean. I mean, we love Dean Ambrose.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we here at the Double J Podplex in the Cliff Cave love Dean Ambrose, but
the Charlie Day of WWE.
But yes, I agree with you. I think Miz is the right decision. I think Miz, I don't know who's going to take it from the Miz, to be honest with you. I have no idea, and I'll figure a name I'm going to throw out there in a minute, but I don't know who takes it from the Miz. But getting back to you about the Miz Taraj.
Right, yeah. I kind of dig the Miz Taraj. It's filling that void that, as Cliff mentioned earlier, Damian Sandow had in there with him, being the stunt double and all that stuff. Just like what Bo Dallas said on Raw Talk, this is the first time he's been on a pay-per-view in 2 years.
That's real facts, and that was good to hear. Yeah,
I never thought of it like that.
Neither did I, but I was happy to hear it that way.
And it's like that's a very good point, and I'm glad to see Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas.
Two guys who I like, and I've said that over and over again. Two guys who I do like, so I'm happy to see that.
So I'm cool with it. And it goes with what the Miz is doing.
Right.
Arguably the biggest heel in the company right now.
Oh, I think he is. Yeah, I don't. It just fits. Close right now. I think he definitely is.
All right, so what happens if somehow, some way, The Miz and Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel having a falling out, and one of them fights him for the Intercontinental
I can
Championship?
see that.
Damn.
How would that not be a thing?
Axelmania will run wild.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
dude. Can you imagine the fans erupting?
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
dude.
Absolutely.
He
That
comes
can totally
out
be a
as
thing.
Axelmania and he's...
Look, while I was watching Raw Talk, I had it playing in my head. You know, the Miz he's gonna keep winning all these matches, retaining his title, and then either Curtis Axel or Bo Dallas will be like, you know what? We want a shot at that.
Absolutely.
I'm tired of helping you.
They want to take the Miz to
You know.
destination. Fucked.
Right? And think about this. All the other people that in theory could beat him and win that title are in SmackDown, not in Raw.
That's a very good point. That is an
You
extremely
got Kevin
good point.
Owens, right? You got all those guys.
That's a very good point, actually.
They're all in SmackDown. They can't win it because they're not in Raw.
To me, the
Now
perfect
you
guy,
got these guys.
the perfect guy to feud with Miz is Dolph Ziggler, and I've said that a million.
But
and a
he's
half
in
times.
SmackDown.
He is in SmackDown. That's
Exactly.
right.
That's my
Yeah,
point.
More to your point. That was the guy to me that would beat the Miz. But I think we'll all agree, and Mr. Clifford, I'll shoot at you, but I think we'll all agree that keeping the strap on the Miz, and I need to start calling it the championship because I'm tired of saying strap on. So keeping the belt on Miz is a good decision. Would you agree with that?
I'm a huge fan of The Miz.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a son of a bitch, but at the end of the day,
But he's our son of a bitch.
I love him.
He's
I
great.
love him. He is one of the best heels I've seen in a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
He is
And-
Ric Flair reincarnated. He is
Exactly,
Triple H reincarnated.
exactly.
I don't know about all that.
Well, as far as
I'm
being a
with you.
heel, as far
I'm
as
with you. All right. As being a heel, sure, maybe. I'm with you. All right.
sure, I'm down with the sure maybe.
right.
One thing I will bring up because I think we pretty much closed up on the Miz and Dean Ambrose. I mean, however, also hearing the Miz, all the Raw talks or Smack talks that he's done after the show have been classics. Everything he's done from throwing stuff at Daniel Bryan and talking about how Daniel Bryan can't wrestle, and then tonight talking to Renee and making it obvious that she's with Dean Ambrose. That was a smart move, and he's great at it. He's doing that even when most cameras are off of him. When you're doing that type of stuff on Raw Talk or Smack Talk, well, maybe not everybody's watching, and you're still that damn good, that's impressive.
But the
Period.
thing is he's calling it.
Mm-hmm.
He is making the Intercontinental title relevant again.
And he absolutely is. He absolutely is. Absolutely.
Yep.
It has not been this relevant in a long time. And seeing The Miz carry it is what the WWE needs. The guy who beats The Miz is a made man. And that's why I think, getting back to what we were all saying, I think that it's going to be somebody who is not somebody we think yet. I think somebody who beats The Miz may be a Bobby Roode, may be a Johnny Gargano from NXT. It's going to be somebody who's newer, or even somebody maybe that's on a roster, but somebody that needs to make a name for themselves.
Why not Big Cass?
Ooh, that's an extremely good point.
I'll tell you what, I wouldn't mind seeing Big Cass with the IC title on his
Hell
waist.
no, I think that'd be fantastic, man.
Enzo Amore.
Oh man, it would be like when
Now we're talking.
it would be like when Daniel Bryan won the World Heavyweight Championship in New Orleans, Louisiana. We were
God.
all there.
That was great.
That was beautiful. That is why you watch professional wrestling. Now, that's a great point. Talking about Enzo winning, dude. If Enzo wins it over the Miz, it's like when Rocky finally beats Apollo. That would be a huge moment. If WWE wants to pull the trigger on it, that's another story. But I think that would be a huge moment. That would be fantastic. One more question I want to bring up as we're closing out on that. Mm-hmm. How in the name of Christ was Finn Balor not on the card? Notice the silence.
That's a good question.
$6 million question.
That's a good question. Another thing that I've heard about Finn Balor, being as we're bringing him up, is I've heard rumors of them scratching the demon side of Finn Balor.
I've heard they wanted to. I don't think they're going to.
And I can tell you what, it's been a really long time since we've seen the demon side of Finn Balor.
It has. It's scary. It's scary that we haven't seen it that long.
And I'm hoping that that is only because it's being reserved for his next title shot.
Right,
Whatever
that's what
that
I'm kinda
title may
thinking.
be.
Right.
Yeah. he had to tap into the demon. He may have to tap into the demon to beat Brock Lesnar. You never know, But that's what it was always used as. Even when he was in NXT, it was in big matches, And that's in big matches. He hasn't done it yet, and that's worrying me because it's too big of a part of his character.
I feel though as if whenever he, let's just say, ascended from NXT to the WWE, I feel as if he was almost on a level above Seth Rollins.
Oh yeah, no,
he came in and easily took that title.
Finn Balor, when he ascended to WWE, would have been bigger, and this is a little blasphemous to say, would be bigger than Kenny Omega coming to WWE. Finn Balor, when he came from NXT, yes, and I stand by my point. Finn Balor going from NXT to WWE was wanted more than anything in a long time.
Well, I'll say this. The Prince was the biggest thing in Japan for a long
Prince
time.
Devitt was the freaking man. And the originator of the Bullet Club. You could only be... I don't know who can really top that. I mean, he is the man. For him to not be included in this pay-per-view, too sweet. For him to be not that that's too sweet, but for him to not be included in the pay-per-view is simply not acceptable. Okay? It's not acceptable. So, that may be something down the line, that I hope it gets better, but that's just simply not acceptable for Finn Balor, arguably, I don't want to say the biggest name in WWE, but he's a top 5 without even thinking. For him not to be in any match. They had seemingly a promising storyline with him and the Drifter, Elias Sampson, who I love as well, by the way. That never came to fruition. Like, I don't know. Creative pisses me off sometimes. But
right,
that's where I'll leave that, I guess.
Here's the thought. Finn Balor was hurt recently, right? And now he's okay, quote unquote?
He was hurt for a while, yeah.
Right, so maybe he's still not good.
That's of course it's a possibility. But he still competes on Raw. I mean, he still competes.
True.
If anything, pairing him with guys that he knows already, like Elias Sampson, who he knows from NXT very well. If you are still hurt, if you are still on the verge of hurt, or if you are just coming off of being injured, you want to be wrestling somebody who you're very familiar with. And that's why I thought Elias Sampson was a great idea. Because that's a guy who he's even, he even rode with multiple times in NXT. A guy who he is close to. I mean, it's a buddy of his. So I thought that would have made a hell of a lot of sense for a feud, but of course it didn't come down. That's an issue WWE has to resolve soon, because you do not leave a name like Finn Balor out of the card. That's like leaving AJ Styles out. That's like leaving Nakamura out. That's like leaving Kenny Omega.
But the thing is I feel like we're reaching a point where, quote unquote, the cup runneth over.
Yes,
we have so much talent.
Holy grail!
It's ridiculous.
We have too many mouths to feed.
It's ridiculous. We'd have to have a 6-hour pay-per-view to include all of our big names.
But you don't have to, because the pay-per-view is all about the championship bouts, which we had tonight, except for the Bray Wyatt and Seth Rollins nonsense.
He does not like that.
No,
he
because
does
it was
not
dumb.
like that, man.
Why are we doing the Cruiserweight thing in the pre-show?
Because it's unimportant. It's unimportant, and Vince...
It's only unimportant because they make it unimportant.
Exactly. Absolutely
so
true.
It doesn't make any sense.
Couldn't agree more.
It doesn't make any sense.
As far as all that goes, I have a solution to our runneth over problems that I will revisit later on in the show.
I like it.
But I do have a solution to it.
Do it.
Moving right along, I will bring that up later on, but moving right along, we're going to the slobber knocker, if you will. The knickerbocker, if you will, which is not the right term.
That's pants.
Well, it was a pants. It was a pants. Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns.
Pants.
We're getting into the heavyweight matchup of Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns, where Braun Strowman beat Roman Reigns, but Roman Reigns inducted Braun Strowman into the Destination Fucked Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he did. But yeah, so that match was what did y'all think of that match?
I think there's been so much hype on this match. Mm-hmm. Both people I really don't care for.
Right.
So I think I'm in this position where I choose the lesser of two evils. Obviously, for me, that would be Roman Reigns. for me, seeing Roman Reigns come out of his shell, because normally whenever I view Roman Reigns, I view him as a calm type person, as they said on the pay-per-view. He kind of came out of his shell. He kind of came unglued, kind of went toe-to-toe with the monster among men.
Yeah.
Kind of showed that same side that Strowman shows.
Playing tit for tat, you have to.
I think that this could be a good thing. I think this is taking the next step towards where this feud is going to go. I do not think that this feud is over with.
You don't think it's over?
I do not.
Well, here's my thoughts. The greatest part about this match was the fact that throughout the entire match, you had no idea who was going to win. You had no idea.
Very true.
That's a true statement.
And they did a great job of going back and forth. And even when it ended, right before it ended, you thought Roman Reigns was going to win. You know? And then he did not. And then he came out of nowhere like The Undertaker. I was like, whoa, I'm going to take you and put you in this. You know. So it kept you on the edge of your seat. And it was very unpredictable. And that's what I like, because
that's what makes wrestling good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When you don't know what's
When
going to
you don't
happen.
know what's
when
going to
you
happen.
have no
It's
idea
way
what's going to
exactly.
happen,
Yeah.
it's wonderful. And in that match, you had no idea what was going to happen.
Exactly.
So that's the second best match that happened tonight. And then the whole elevator situation, we talked about this earlier, kind of brought you back to the Attitude Era.
Elevator, you said? You say elevator?
No, Attitude Era.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you said elevator just now.
He did say elevator. I don't know what he
I was saying you said elevator. I swear.
No, I did not.
Yeah.
No,
It's recorded.
It's recorded. We'll go back.
We'll go back and look. No, it totally brought you back to the Attitude Era, where you got somebody in an ambulance and we're backing it up into a 18-wheeler trailer.
It was it was Attitude Era-esque.
Right.
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You know,
I'll say this, though. The Kurt Hawkins
Heath Slater match.
That
and
was
Heath Slater, that was unnecessary.
That may have been the dumbest.
Why not
booking
stay on the
I've ever
action?
seen in WWE history.
well, I mean,
That was stupid.
If you're going to speak realistically,
If that isn't an F, I don't know what is.
F
That's
minus.
right. Thank
F
you.
minus.
If
Well-
Bleacher Report doesn't give that an F, I'm going down there, and they're going to Destination Fucked.
but if you speak realistic about it, you have to have something happening while you're staging whatever you're doing. And that's kind of that's how that happens.
You could keep the cameras backstage.
Exactly. It's
They've
a
done
little-
that before. That's what they used to do.
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
I agree with what you're saying,
True.
but why would you didn't have to have a match? at
We
that point.
call
Make
that
it
a
more than
squash
just
match.
nothing. Exactly. Why make it something? It has to be something.
Well, the best
That's
part
on the
about
card, but Finn's not on the damn card.
Right.
Like, that's ridiculous.
the best part about that match is that it ended while they were looking at the ambulance in the back.
Right, nobody saw the ending.
Exactly.
It was
We heard ding, ding.
no one even knows how.
Now,
it
we
ended. It doesn't-
assumed Heath Slater won, because WWE doesn't know what to do with Kurt Hawkins, but, we assumed Heath Slater won.
Also, another problem.
Correct.
But yeah, I'm with you.
He is a guy
Yeah.
who I think would be great in a tag team. Kurt Hawkins.
Absolutely.
Kurt Hawkins and Heath Slater.
You know
would
what's
be
great?
a
I was about to
tag team.
say that.
Yeah.
Both of them together could be something.
Would be a
Why not?
great
They got
tag
kids,
team.
man.
They
Well,
got kids.
well, you
They
know
got
what?
kids.
Heath Slater's got Rhino,
But he's
and
not
I
gonna
don't want to
always
give
have
that
Rhino.
up.
I would never give Rhino up, but he's not going to always have Rhino. So that that's the way I feel.
You got
about
kids,
it.
man.
He's got kids.
He's got kids, man.
Getting back to the Braun Strowman
Still
and Roman
getting
Reigns,
paid.
I think it was kind of like you said when I was in the bathroom peeing about how Roman Reigns came out of his shell a little bit tonight.
Yeah, he did.
You saw
Yeah.
another side of Roman Reigns that you don't normally see. That was so smart.
That
And
we should see more
that was-
often.
That we should see more often.
And you will.
He didn't know how to finally beat Braun Strowman, so he had to damn near kill him to beat him. Of course, booking wise.
Right.
Obviously, it didn't really happen.
Right.
But that was smart. The question I have for all of you, actually, that was a smart way to book it. I enjoyed the hell out of every minute of it. It was
I did.
booked as a big fight, and it went above and beyond. This is one time I can actually say a Roman Reigns fight went above and beyond. Big time. That was great to watch. It was great wrestling television. The question I do have to ask, does this feud continue?
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay.
I feel like this hasn't even reached the pinnacle. We just
Or
got...
the pit.
Good reference. However, I feel as if we just got a peek of what Roman Reigns is capable of.
I agree with that.
He has stepped toe-to-toe with the quote-unquote monster among men. Mm-hmm. He is showing that he can, too, be a monster.
I agree, yeah.
So, I feel as if this feud is far from over.
I feel this feud went too long. Too long, let's say that, yeah.
So I think it's done, personally. Because, now, you may have a moment on Raw tomorrow. You may have a moment on Raw next week. But after that, I feel like Braun Strowman is in a different league in the world of what we're going to do. So, because look at it. Brock Lesnar just beat Samoa Joe. Who's next?
It's either going to be Braun or Roman.
Yeah.
Because Braun technically won.
Right.
Although,
but Braun just crawled out of an ambulance, right? And he was still okay. Mm-hmm. And he did this whole little show about, I got this, whatever. He rolled around.
Those exact noises, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I heard him personally. I was there. I saw him. So I feel like something's going to happen where one of those two, probably Braun Strowman, is going to go on to a feud with Brock Lesnar, and the other one is going to stick in mediocrity and feud with someone else, such as, like, The Miz. Mm-hmm. So one's going to go one way, one's going to go the other way, and I feel like it's one of those two is going to go this way, and the other one is going to go the other way.
For a while it was rumored that Roman Reigns would be going for the IC Championship.
And that would make all the sense in the world.
Which I wouldn't have a problem with.
Absolutely.
That would make sense.
And Braun Strowman would make sense to go after Brock Lesnar.
Yes. And that needs to happen.
That needs to happen.
And it's a great way to elevate his stardom.
Or what about this matchup? And I'll tell you my stance on it, but what about this matchup? Talking about how if they split up and no longer feud, what about Samoa Joe and Roman Reigns?
There you go.
Why not?
Samoa Joe and Finn Balor.
Well, that would be awesome.
Samoa Joe versus
It's not going to happen, though, because he's nothing. He's nothing. We just talked about that.
Well, it's funny you say Samoa Joe versus Samoa Joe.
You never say Finn Balor.
There's only been two people
we
better
just
than
talked
LeVar
about
Ball. There's only been two people better than LeVar Ball, and he's both of them. Okay? But no, getting back to where we're at. It's weird, although y'all have had different viewpoints on it, I agree with all of you.
Yeah.
I think that the feud continues, but I think it ends on Raw. It ends on Raw.
Yeah.
Something else happens because Braun walked away from it.
Yeah.
Something else goes down. It ends on Raw. It does not go to another pay-per-view. I agree with that.
Absolutely.
But I think it continues for a little while. But I think I think it continues, but it doesn't go to pay-per-view. I think at SummerSlam it is Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship.
Absolutely.
I don't think anybody's really necessarily doubting.
And then Braun Strowman wins, and now
how much
he's
would you
not
love
here
to see
anymore.
that, dude? Like
he's elevated.
How much was I cheering for Samoa Joe? I mean, Jesus Christ, dude. We're going to get on that in a second.
Samoa Joe's not that guy yet. Anyway, continue.
Well, actually, no, really. We're at it right now. Let's jump right into it. Brock Lesnar and Samoa Joe. Actually, there's one more thing I want to say about Roman Reigns before we jump into that. Roman Reigns does better when he's not in the title picture. Roman Reigns not in the title picture, his build to being that title contender is what he's all about.
Absolutely.
And that's where he strives at.
Absolutely.
And that is what they messed up at along the road, forcing him into main events.
Yeah.
That was an issue. They're learning from it a little bit.
Because when he's not in the title picture, he has to prove himself.
Correct.
He has continually...
And he always does.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I do appreciate about Roman Reigns. Getting into the main event of this evening that we all sat here and watched. Some of us are upset, some of us may not be. I'm furious. But Brock Lesnar and Samoa Joe for the Universal Championship.
It was the worst match of the night.
I wouldn't go that far because one match happened during an ambulance.
All right. Outside of the ambulance match, this is the worst match of the night.
I'll say this. I don't think Samoa Joe should be the person that takes down the Beast Incarnate.
Absolutely not.
I
would rather see...
I actually disagree.
Like you say.
I mean,
I'm
agreeing with you. Samoa Joe should not be the Universal Champion.
David versus Goliath kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that's not David versus Goliath.
Summon the demon. Take down the beast.
What was the name?
That's a small guy against a barbecue.
What was what you said earlier? One match you want to see, Finn Balor and Samoa Joe. How would that happen? If Samoa Joe won the heavyweight, won the Universal Championship, right? He won the Universal Championship. He has to summon a demon because Samoa Joe beat the beast. That's what would have had to happen. I think it was a lazy move on WWE's part to keep Lesnar as the champion. It's too easy for them to keep Lesnar as the champion.
No, because they're going to use someone and build their stock even higher when they beat Brock Lesnar.
Okay, so what happens with
Samoa Joe is not a superstar.
Ooh, no.
Samoa Joe, it just happens to be a guy that's big, that's won a bunch of matches, that can go up against Brock Lesnar. He's not a superstar. He's just a guy that happens to be big.
I don't know if he's just a guy. Samoa Joe he's not a mid card. Samoa Joe is definitely at the top of the card. Okay. Now, is he a guy that you build your entire company off of? No.
Yeah, he's a star. He's not a superstar. That's my point.
I can see that.
That's my point.
Actually. Samoa Joe, even as great as he was in TNA, he was not their main guy. AJ Styles
he was a star, but he's not a superstar.
I agree with that. But I'm not going to say that, Samoa Joe wasn't a correct choice to beat Lesnar.
No.
This is the question I have to ask. I guess amongst all other questions, the question I have to ask: why in the hell was Samoa Joe pushed to this point just to lose to Lesnar? Why is Samoa Joe being reduced to a filler?
Because they're not done developing someone else to be there. And it was the easy way out. You talked about
it was most certainly the easy way out.
You talked about being lazy earlier. The easy way out was to take this guy who's big, he's larger than life. Take this guy and get him up to the top as fast as possible, just so we can have a universal title match. And then now you got all these other guys that we're still building them up. And then when they get there, we'll do that again.
And it's funny you say that because we were talking about Finn Balor, and Finn Balor never actually lost the Universal Championship. And that's a guy who, first of all, everybody loves. Everybody's behind.
Right.
That's a guy that can legitimately face Brock Lesnar because he never lost it, and he may have to call him the Demon to beat him.
Right.
But what I'm saying is you could have got the same type of matchup with Samoa Joe because of their history in NXT. It would have been a different way of building the match, but you could have had the same type of matchup.
The thing for me is both Samoa Joe and Finn Balor are relatively new in the WWE.
Right. That's true.
Okay. So if I am Vince McMahon or Triple H, I would say I want to have a superstar involved that the majority of my audience knows. Because let's face it, not everybody watches NXT. Is NXT great?
Absolutely.
However, not everybody has the time or the want to look into NXT.
That's absolutely true in every instance.
So, with that being said, to go further on your point, is I'm ready for Brock Lesnar to be out.
Yeah, me too.
I am ready.
Everybody is.
I am ready for the title match to be something that is worth watching.
But it is not Roman Reigns to take it from him.
No.
And that is what I just cannot get over.
It's not.
Don't force... Roman Reigns was great at what he did tonight. Do not force him to be more than that. Do not force Roman Reigns to be this, I'm going to beat Lesnar. Don't force it. You forced it last time and you got booed out the freaking arena. Yep. Don't force it again. Yep. So that's where I'm going. But also, let us realize, Brock Lesnar's holding the championship. Brock Lesnar is Vince's guy. Okay? Another Vince's guy is Braun Strowman. Another Vince's guy is Roman Reigns. Two guys who aren't really Vince's people are Samoa Joe and Finn Balor. That is not a coincidence. So,
true.
So, I guess what I'm kind of saying tonight, the match, I don't know how you allow Samoa Joe to get the upper hand on him and not beat him. I guess it was. To me, in the beginning, it was shades of Goldberg beating Lesnar. It was that quick finish, I think. But at the same time, Samoa Joe did not look bad in defeat. But I just didn't see him losing that match. I was extremely disappointed. Yeah. And Samoa Joe also, I guess, me personally, being a guy who followed him forever. I mean, I followed him since Ring of Honor with CM Punk.
I just think it's too quick,
But you still build him as a destroyer. You still build him as this...
I just don't see Samoa Joe being on the same level as Finn Balor coming in and just completely wrecking it.
Well, not many people are on the same level as Finn Balor. So
exactly.
I agree with that.
Exactly.
However, they've done a great job of building Samoa Joe. for them to not just have him come in and be just an afterthought is impressive to begin with. But I just wanted to see Lesnar lose, dude. I'm so tired of it. I'm tired of having a part-time champion.
Yep.
You know,
I agree
which
with
I think a lot of our listening audience.
Yeah, absolutely. The problem is that part-time champion still makes people want to watch him when he does actually wrestle.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely. It's whether you're watching to see Brock Lesnar, the Beast Incarnate, destroy somebody, or whether you're watching like we were tonight to see him lose.
Yeah.
Whatever it may be,
Absolutely.
you're still watching and you're still waiting for that build-up. The build-up was very good.
It's all about the numbers.
Samoa Joe doing his thing before the championship match over the weeks on Raw, choking out Paul Heyman, choking out Brock Lesnar. Perfect.
Well, we talk about the promos, right?
Right.
It's all about the promos.
The promos are great.
If they make money on it.
WWE does awesome on the promos.
Yeah.
And that's about where we're at. I mean,
And that's fine.
all right, so let's do it like this then. Brock Lesnar is still your Universal Championship.
Yep.
First question, and this is going to go around the table to everybody. First question is, do you have a rematch with Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar? Second question, who is Brock Lesnar facing next? And I think I'm going to get most of the same answers, but I'm going to start with Mr. Clifford.
Ooh.
Ooh, I'm going to throw you for a curveball. Go ahead.
I will say that you do not give him a rematch. Why? Because I feel like he is not in the place yet in the eyes of the WWE audience. I'm not saying that Samoa Joe does not have credibility to be a champion.
Right. Well, my taste is much different than most. Though.
That day
So
is coming. That day is coming.
Yes.
There's
I
no
agree.
doubt. However, right now, I do not think is the time or direction that they will be going in.
The casual fan, and getting to your point, the casual fan, I don't think knows all of Samoa Joe's accomplishments. I'm more of an indie guy. I pay attention to the indies. Not everybody does, and that's an obvious statement. But I agree with what you're saying. But who is your guy? Since they're not going to have a rematch, who is your guy that takes on Brock Lesnar?
I'm going to have to go with the obvious, and the crowd want or favorite, and just say Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
If it's not Braun Strowman, which, for the love of God, I just hope it happens.
Well,
get it out of the way.
As of right now, it seems to be. I agree with you. It seems to be an obvious. But Earl,
Yeah, so I feel like the I feel like the feud, quote unquote, between Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar is over. And we have quite some time before a pay-per-view happens with both of them. No, see, because that's a different one. Yeah. So we have some time before a pay-per-view happens where these people can face each other again. I feel like it's going to be Brock Lesnar against Big Cass at that point.
ooh,
That's what I feel like. And the reason I feel like that,
damn.
the reason I feel like that,
Curveball. That was a curveball.
Yeah.
That was a knuckleball.
Yeah.
Curveball was a
The reason I
knuckleball.
feel like that is because they wouldn't have broken up Enzo and Cass if they didn't have big plans for one of them. And Enzo ain't beating Brock Lesnar.
Well, of course not.
Obviously, right.
So Enzo, write it down. Enzo is going to go on to have a feud with The Miz.
I would. I said that when you were outside, I think. Yes, I agree with you completely.
And Big Cass is going to go on to have a feud with
We're
Brock
not
Lesnar. And Big Cass is going to win it, and Brock Lesnar is going to ride off in the sunset.
I don't know that he rides off in the sunset, but
I don't know where he goes.
No,
but he's going somewhere.
Brock Lesnar will be a commodity in the WWE until he decides to retire, period.
Yeah, absolutely.
He can go to 55 or whenever he wants, competing once a year like Taker did.
Right.
You know, that is what Lesnar's going to turn into.
All right, fine.
And,
I'll go for that. Yeah,
but
sure.
this is, I guess, the question of that. If you did have a Big Cass versus Brock Lesnar feud, or at least match,
Yeah.
who's the face?
Your face at that point. Oh, God, that's a good
Yeah, you know, and granted, can you have heel versus heel? Yeah, but no. One of the heels becomes a face. You can have face versus face.
You can, but your face.
Well, here do you-
your
here
face.
you go.
Hold on.
You rarely have heel versus heel.
Your face is going to be Big Cass because nobody likes Brock Lesnar.
Who is your face in Samoa Joe versus Lesnar?
Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe.
How do you get that?
Exactly.
Because you start. Well, that's a good point.
More the reason.
You
Big
start-
Cass is going to be
you
the
start
face.
to cheer by what they've done
Yeah,
in
Big
the
Cass-
feud. You
Big-
start
Big
to cheer
Cass-
for a certain heel who becomes a face, and that was Samoa Joe.
Yeah, Big Cass is going to be the face against Brock Lesnar. Absolutely.
Personally, I think anyone
I
that
think
goes...
it can be built the same type of way. I kind of agree with what you're saying.
I think if you put anyone up against Brock Lesnar will be looked at as heel.
He's always heel because
just because he's a part-timer and like he defended this title once in a matter of 3 months.
Brock Lesnar could have been...
That's
right,
bullshit,
and we're all upset about that, but Brock Lesnar could have been the face had he said something about Samoa Joe attacking Paul Heyman. Had he made that a bigger deal, he would have became a face. He did not do that.
Right.
That was not made into a big deal. Right. Therefore, Samoa Joe is the guy trying to beat the Beast, trying to beat the unsurmountable odds to beat Brock Lesnar. So I think Samoa Joe was definitely the face in that. I love your pick about Big Cass. That's something I hope. Oh my God, it'd be great.
That's absolutely going to happen. It's going to happen, whether it's Brock Lesnar or someone.
In due time,
it's going to happen at some point.
And as far as Braun Strowman goes, that'd be awesome as well. But Jeremy, does the feud continue? So
hold on, before you go, Jeremy. So what if you have Big Cass as one and Braun Strowman as the other one when it comes to Universal and Heavyweight?
Well, I mean, you would only have one competitor for... You talking about like one after the other?
Yeah.
What if Strowman wins and then
Big Cass and Strowman? Yet again, that could certainly be... That's still the same killing two birds with one stone. Kill one bird with... we kill a lot of birds. I don't know, but...
all the birds.
They'd all be sent to Destination Fox!
Yeah! That's beautiful. But that would pretty much... That would solve the same thing.
Yeah.
And that could very well be so. Right. I think Braun Strowman gets a shot at him regardless.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if necessarily you're right or wrong or in between as far as Big Cass goes, but I think Braun Strowman definitely gets a chance. But Mr. Jeremy, do they keep it going?
Honestly, I'm going to copy and paste exactly what Cliff said. Well, actually, no, I'm sorry. Except for the feud continuing, I think it's going to stop.
Yeah.
And then at some point, Strowman gets a shot at that Universal title.
Because
when they teased that Strowman and Lesnar thing on Raw, remember when I came to your apartment
and he stepped away,
he stepped away, dude. Me and you both were like, "Oh my God, like this is gonna happen," and then it didn't happen. But ever since that happened, I've been wanting to see that.
Now, when Jeremy said apartment, he actually means villa. I live in a villa. But yeah, go on.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think the feud continues. I think, as far as Samoa Joe going after that title, it was kind of like okay, we're going to give you this opportunity, and then like, all right, well, if you screw up or if you lose, then, hey. We'll I mean, not that they won't give him any other opportunities or anything, but I think they may kind of swing that to another direction, and I think Strowman should be next.
Well, speaking of another direction, one thing I want to kind of follow up on both of y'all's point. I think the feud's over, but something needs to happen for the feud to be over. Samoa Joe's not just going to come out there on Raw and say, it's done, it's not it. No.
Right.
He has to have his attention directed elsewhere. Now, that, I guess, is the next question I'm following up with. If indeed, and I kind of agree with the Braun Strowman, Brock Lesnar thing, I think a lot of our audience does. All of our 5 listeners, they know. But who would be, if you do end the feud, which indeed we think they are, who is the next guy to face Samoa Joe? Who does Samoa Joe feud with after this? Because he's not going to be in obscurity elsewhere. He's going to feud with somebody, but who does he feud with to get away from the Brock Lesnar feud?
For the love of God, Finn Balor.
Yeah, I was about to say
that's what I was hoping we'd get back to. Yeah,
Can we please? I look at it this way: Samoa Joe has obviously just somewhat, let's just say somewhat recently, made his debut into the WWE. Finn Balor is still somewhat new in my eyes as far as the time he's been wrestling.
Right.
Okay. But Finn Balor has had a lot more attention from the audience than Samoa Joe.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So, I think it goes both ways. They're both extremely credible wrestlers.
Oh, by all means.
But, in one hand, you have Finn Balor, which is a huge fan favorite. Everyone has taken a tremendous liking.
Could arguably be the face of WWE.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you have Samoa Joe, which could very likely be that new top heel. Okay? As far as the wrestling aspect goes, it's going to be knocked out the park regardless because they're both amazing.
They're going to put on a show, no doubt. If indeed that does go down, they're going to put on a show.
And I'm completely confident that they're both capable of working story
right.
to the match.
Use the fact that they had a huge feud in NXT. Use that fact. Use the fact that these are two guys who have feuded before. And you can put anything in there. Samoa Joe stand toe-to-toe to Lesnar and look the beast in the face. Whatever it may be. May it be that Samoa Joe beat Finn. Whatever it may be. That just makes sense all across the board. So that would be a feud I would certainly have to agree with. But getting over to Earl, who does Samoa Joe feud with next? Earl's still chewing.
So we're gonna go.
All right, I'm gonna go to Jared because Earl's still chewing. Who does Samoa Joe feud with next?
I'm gonna have to agree with Cliff here. Finn Balor.
Yeah, I think that's a consensus right now. What we're
Finn
going
Balor.
with. I think it makes the most sense. And Finn Balor, Samoa Joe as a third or fourth main event at SummerSlam would be tremendous. And from the Raw side, if we are going with Braun Strowman versus Brock Lesnar, also having Finn Balor and Samoa Joe would be two marquee matches by itself without anything else even added to the card as of yet. But
do you even think that match between Strowman and Lesnar would be really worth anything other than the hype?
Ooh.
Let's point a question directed toward Uncle Jimmy here.
Oh, that's okay. Okay, we're doing that.
Not just Jimmy, Uncle Jimmy.
Uncle Jimmy.
Well, the hype itself is going to be huge. Having Braun Strowman go through somebody like Roman Reigns, surviving almost dying in an ambulance, or so the TV would let us think, okay? To face somebody like Brock Lesnar, who has had problems with, as of late, Brock Lesnar has been vulnerable. Did he beat Samoa Joe? Yeah, but he was vulnerable. And I would go even further. I think Braun Strowman beats Brock Lesnar. But will the match itself be good? It depends if they give him less rules. If it's just a straight-up wrestling match, yeah, it's going to be shit. It's not going to be all that great. Neither guy is a fabulous wrestler right now. Brock Lesnar was. Brock Lesnar was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Not that he's not now, but he's more of a UFC style now. He translates that UFC style to the WWE.
His moveset back in the day was so much better.
Oh, look at him. We saw the back in the day type stuff when I was showing Angle's thing earlier. We may need another ambulance tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Earl's coughing up about 40 years of smoking.
And
Jesus, y'all can still hear it. Like he's dying outside. We probably should check on him.
no, I think he's all right.
Yeah, he'll make it through. He learned how to breathe through his nose. He's all right. But as far as that goes, I think the match, if the match is given more of a build than just a normal match, if it's given, no holds barred, or even, hey, an ambulance match, since he does have a forte with it. We have a guy dying outside, ladies and gentlemen. Give us a minute. But I do think that I don't think the match is that great. I think the hype would be more so. But that's about where I'm going with it. I think Braun Strowman beats Brock Lesnar. This is an early take, but I think Braun Strowman beats Brock Lesnar. So
I agree with you on that, Jimmy.
yeah, moving right along. One big thing we have to bring up is the fact that Austin Aries has been released from the WWE.
Bad form, Jack.
He's been released from the WWE and is now going to Destination Fucked. But
Yo, he got fucked. Oh, absolutely.
the fact that I was reading into it a little bit, the fact that Austin Aries got let go was not because of his injury, which I thought it was in the first place. I thought his injury was the reason he got let go. That actually didn't make sense the more and more I thought about it. Why would you get rid of the biggest name in the Cruiserweight division just because he was injured a little bit? That didn't make sense. The fact is Austin Aries wanted to leave the Cruiserweight division, and reportedly wanted to leave the Cruiserweight division and go to the main roster and compete on the main roster, which I think we all here would agree with and be okay with. But apparently, WWE Creative or WWE, front office was not okay with that and released Austin Aries. I guess something to make it a little bit fun and not just about how much nobody here is okay with that. Nobody here is, oh, thank God they released. No, that's not a such thing. What is a match, since it's not going to happen, what is a match that's a dream match for you with Austin Aries, Cliff?
Austin Aries?
What would be a dream match Austin Aries on the main roster had he got his wish? Had he got his wish to be on the main roster?
I mean, you could, due to his size, you could throw him with a Finn Balor. Mm-hmm. You could throw him with a Seth Rollins.
Yes.
You could throw him... I mean, I look at it this way. A point that I wanted to make towards what you were saying. We look at the talent that's moving up through NXT.
Right.
You have your Seth Rollins. You have all these guys that have...
Finn Balor
that
Wyatt.
have moved up. They have won the title.
Right.
Let's take a look at Neville. Has Neville won the title? No.
We're on the Cruiserweight Championship, but yeah.
Neville has been shoved down from an NXT champion and having to settle for a Cruiserweight title.
I really couldn't agree with you more on that, man. I think having Neville, another guy who can't compete outside of the Cruiserweight division, is a tragedy.
And
it's terrible.
To me, it's not that they can't.
Oh,
it's that they will not allow it.
It's because Vince will not allow it. That's the biggest issue, and that's why Cruiserweight...
You've had a Rey Mysterio win the title.
Thank you.
Okay? Why can we not have these other guys?
Look at the guys who
That's what I said earlier.
This is what Jeremy and I have talked about multiple times. Look at the guys who were under 205 who won World Heavyweight Championships. Look at Eddie Guerrero. Look at Chris Benoit.
Jericho.
Look at Jericho. Look at guys who would have been considered cruiserweights who still won the damn title. And that's, an issue here and there. I mean, that in itself is an issue. But as far as Austin Aries being released, I think WWE has missed a huge opportunity. Having one of the best guys in TNA, one of the best guys in Ring of Honor, and having a guy who will give you everything he has in the ring every night. By the way, my dream match would have been him and Dolph Ziggler. But you're not able to have that now because he was released. And that to me is upsetting, and that is something that the more and more we find out about it, we will revisit later. But it's a very unfortunate event, needless to say.
It is.
But Mr. Bergeron, as much as you are an Austin Aries fan, who would you like to see him in a dream match with? Since apparently it's not going to damn happen, but who would you like to see on the main roster, Austin Aries versus who?
Well,
and it can be Raw or SmackDown. It doesn't really matter.
I'll say Aries versus Shinsuke Nakamura.
Ooh. That's not bad at all.
Not bad at all.
That's a hell of a comment. Maybe he still gets drafted back by SmackDown. That would be awesome. That'd be two guys who competed in New Japan and who have never faced.
They are the land of opportunity.
Yes.
To my knowledge, I don't think Shinsuke and Austin Aries have ever faced. I think that'd be great.
It would be great.
That'd be fantastic. I guess getting away from that a little bit is that a whole lot more to say. I mean, I think it's upsetting that they got rid of Austin Aries, somebody who could have been the face, if you want to call it the Cruiserweight division, the face of the Cruiserweight division. And, the dude could headline pay-per-views if they would allow him to. And I know a lot of people are on that same level with me. Speaking of headlining pay-per-views and speaking of championships, what about the phenomenal one, AJ Styles beating Kevin Owens in Madison Square Gardens at a damn house show to become the U.S. champion?
That's something.
One garden.
That's something.
That is something. The thing I want to bring up, and I'll get y'all's opinion and everything on it. The thing I want to bring up about AJ Styles beating Kevin Owens, the rumor is that Kevin Owens is more injured than they thought he was.
Right.
And he injured himself more in the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. So that's why he dropped it much earlier than expected to AJ Styles. The rumor was that he was going to drop it at Battleground, but that's still 2 weeks away. Yet again, they wanted to get Kevin Owens fixed up by time for SummerSlam. Since Kevin Owens is not going to be back until SummerSlam, who is it that AJ Styles feuds with for United States Championship at Battleground?
You know who I don't know who I think it will be feuding with. I would like to see him feud with Sami Zayn. I would like to see Sami Zayn, for the love of God, win some sort of gold. Because I just feel like Sami Zayn is too good of a talent to not.
I agree with you. He's a fan favorite. Too.
He is. I love him. I love him all the way up to his damn theme music. That ska song, dude, I love it. But I mean, his in-ring work is awesome, and he just doesn't seem to get pushed enough to get over that hump to win any sort of gold. And he needs to win gold.
I'll even say this. You and I had a conversation about this the other day. Mm-hmm. Shinsuke, he has not been getting a lot of credit since he's come to SmackDown. This would be the perfect opportunity to put him in a situation with someone who he is comfortable with.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And he has worked with before.
I agree.
And then he's won gold everywhere he's been,
But
just
Dolph.
like AJ Styles.
You want Dolph.
Getting back as far as great as AJ Styles is, would I like to see him and Dolph Ziggler? Yeah, because that hasn't happened. Would I like to see AJ Styles versus Sami Zayn? That hasn't happened. Of course, I'd like to see that. But going with the safe pick, Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles had put on a 5-star match in New Japan.
Absolutely.
They put on it was the match of the year. Okay, Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles was Omega and Okada before Omega and Okada was Omega.
Believe
and
me,
Okada.
I've seen it.
Yeah, as I well know. AJ Styles and Nakamura put on a hell of a show. And getting back to the fact of the language barrier, which is an issue that we don't, I guess, harp on all that much, but a guy he's familiar with, a guy he's very comfortable with is AJ Styles. So
this is my point. Not to really interrupt you, but this is my point. A lot of people that I know that are into wrestling, they always ask, Shinsuke has a great entrance. Other than that, I don't get the hype. So,
I'm
what better?
I'm one of those guys.
What better situation
for him to prove himself
than a person that he's previously worked with and had, like you said, a 5-star match.
Absolutely.
Than AJ Styles.
Yet again, another great point I heard while I was peeing was a thing about Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles. That was fantastic, man. The reason that the whole WWE universe, or may it be general wrestling fans, or may it be people who doesn't really pay attention to Ring of Honor and New Japan, they don't know about Shinsuke Nakamura. They don't understand what he's all about. It's just like, it's how WWE bills a guy coming from another promotion.
Exactly.
And they've done well. They did great with AJ Styles.
Exactly.
But because of the language barrier, Shinsuke Nakamura cannot get on the mic and say, I'm Shinsuke Nakamura, I'm the best on the freaking planet. He can't say it. So
take out his goddamn mouthpiece.
Yeah. I mean,
that doesn't help either,
He has to prove it, and that is where we're going right now, is the fact that he has to prove it. And what better to feud with AJ Styles than the other guy who's the best in the world? That, to me, makes sense. So I would have to agree with that. So I got AJ Styles, Sami Zayn.
So I have a question. So while I was outside dying...
Yeah, you died.
Right, yeah. We're glad you're still here with us.
We call Roman Reigns, who's actually familiar with driving ambulances.
He can totally come pick me up.
He's got you, dude. He's got you, brother.
As long as he doesn't run me into an 18-wheeler trailer, we're good.
Yeah.
Well, he's known to do that. We can't promise, but
just get out before he attempts to back up.
Right. So when he starts going backwards really fast, I jump out, right?
Yeah. Jump out.
Noted.
Jump out backwards. So
tuck and roll, Grandma. That's right. Tuck and roll.
Doing it. So did we talk about how awesome it is that he won this at a house show? Did we talk about that?
How awesome it is?
Yeah.
We didn't mention how awesome it was, but
you can.
We mentioned, yeah, exactly. We mentioned it at a house show.
So think about it. We've all went to house shows before, right?
Sure. By all means, they're great.
Many times.
House shows are great, man.
Absolutely.
House shows are very
Many
good.
times. But what happens at every house show? Exactly what you think is going to happen. And then in this house show,
AJ Styles actually won a damn title.
Something out of the ordinary happened, and you got more than you thought you were going to get. I think it's wonderful. Why doesn't this happen more often? Because
that house shows mean something.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more.
Make it mean something. Because back in the day, I watched The Undertaker and Farouk in a steel cage, but we all knew The Undertaker would win, and it happened, and he won, and we moved on. But now, AJ Styles is winning a championship at a house show. Maybe I'll go to the next one.
Right. Absolutely.
Why aren't we doing this more often?
You know, it's funny because the announcers just said it like it was nothing, said it all nonchalant and stuff.
Yeah.
AJ Styles now the United States champion, beat Kevin Owens.
Why are we not making a big deal out
To
of
me,
it?
that reminds me of the times when, this is, I guess, a little bit different, but it reminds me of when Eric Bischoff would announce the WWE's, or WWF at the times, results.
Yeah.
When Nitro was live, and he would announce the results.
Oh, it was wonderful. That was the best part about it. That was the best part about it.
Raw.
WCW always started at 7:57 to announce what happened on Raw.
Yeah. Just to let you know,
Yeah, absolutely.
And
guess what happened? WWF, or WWE, or whatever you want to call it, they stopped doing that eventually, right?
What I want to do to kind of somewhat, not that we're trying to close up quickly because we're not. We all have all night. But I want to give my point on how NXT would be furthered and how to deal with the cup runneth over. But after that, I want to do going to each guy and who is your top five wrestlers in the world. We're going to do that to close up. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Of all time or...
No, right now.
Active.
Oh,
Lord.
All time, look, if it's not Sting, it ain't nothing. So
Sting's not my top five, but it's cool. Go ahead.
Okay, see this shit, dude? But we'll get to that. I want to get to the cup runneth over. We talked about how SmackDown and Raw has so much talent, and all this talent that comes up from NXT, sometimes misused, as in Sami Zayn, sometimes does really well, as in Finn Balor, as in Samoa Joe, as in Seth Rollins, as in The Shield, as in Bray Wyatt, although booked him like shit later. But still, my solution, and I hope Vince is listening, which he obviously is, obviously, my solution is you do what WWE did back in the Invasion era. You have 3 shows. You have Raw, you have SmackDown, and you have NXT. They are all equally important. You have 3 shows, 3 titles, 3 main events. When you're doing SummerSlam, it is, it may be an extra hour long, but it's incorporating 3 shows. NXT would still have their pay-per-view, their hour-long pay-per-view. They would still have that. Or 2 hour-long, whatever they would like to make it be. You would still have your pay-per-view, and you'd be able to spread the talent over 3 separate promotions. That is about where I'm at right now. Because like we're talking about, guys like Dolph Ziggler, guys like Sami Zayn, guys like Bray Wyatt, to be honest, would benefit from being on another show. You talk about if we would handpick the guys who are on Raw and SmackDown who are not being used properly and put them on another show, that show will thrive. You talk about Bray Wyatt, Dolph Ziggler, Sami Zayn, Cesaro. I mean, guys who are definitely underutilized on another show. Can you imagine NXT as it is now, as good as it is, with Bobby Roode, with Johnny Gargano, with Tommaso Ciampa, with all these Roderick Strong, with Sanity, who I love, with people who can go. Imagine adding Bray Wyatt, Dolph Ziggler, Sami Zayn, other people back to NXT, and make it not a developmental territory like it's looked at now, but make it actually as a separate promotion, but equal value of Raw and SmackDown. That is my humble fix to the cup runneth over problem.
Yeah, but at that point, you have to take all of your good people and spread them out over 3 establishments.
But you have enough.
Why are we doing that?
Because you have enough.
Because you have enough.
You have enough.
Well, why take all of my good people, spread it out over 3 entities, and then take all of the almost good people and spread them out over 3 entities to pull out the bag?
Because
if you
WWE has a lot of talent right now.
If you put all of the quote unquote cream of the crop in one show
and Raw, call it a day.
If you put them all in Raw, all of them will not get the exposure.
Absolutely.
No one cares about exposure.
Well, you look at it like this. Look at it like this.
The WWE does not care about exposure. They care about money. So what would be the point of taking your top 20 talents and spreading them out over 3 establishments when you can put them all in one and then take all your developmental people and put them in this one and then take all your extra developmental people and put them in this one? It doesn't make any financial sense.
The fact is, when you're talking about put all your top guys into one, what happens at that point? You have Bray Wyatt versus Seth Rollins, which is a match that means nothing.
No, that was a match that means nothing because they're dumb.
Right, well, that's more of the point.
Right.
Bray
But
Wyatt
they
and
could
Seth
have replaced
Rollins,
it with something else. We already talked about that.
No, I know, that's what I'm saying. Bray Wyatt and Seth Rollins are two of the top in the business, and yet
But they're not.
They have a nothing show.
Right, because they're
If
not the top in the business. Right? I mean, let's be real. If they were, they wouldn't be the first match that meant absolutely nothing. And the first pay-per-view of its kind.
But it's also different because you cannot have the same match over and over again.
Absolutely.
If it was talking about being the 2 best guys, period, having them over and over again, that would get stale. That's why you recycle and you go through everything. That's why having a third promotion makes sense.
Right.
Because you have too many damn guys.
So that limits the amount of opponents you can have for all these people that are champions.
It doesn't limit it.
It does. Because if you take all the good people and put them over there, now you got a bunch of people that shouldn't be wrestling for this, wrestling for that.
Well, you don't take all of the good people. You do the draft like you did initially.
Right, but if it's so limited that the Bray Wyatt match was the bottom of the barrel, that's how that's going to happen. You're going to take all these people, put them over here, put them over there, and you don't have enough people. And now you're going to take all these people.
No, but you have the luxury right now that you do have enough people.
Yeah, but they don't because Bray Wyatt.
Because it's 2 shows right now. I'm not saying they'll ever do this. They're not going to do this. Like you said, financially, it doesn't necessarily make sense. And I agree with you on that.
So why would we
end.
fantasize about it?
Because it's the solution to the cup runneth over. You have all these.
But it doesn't because we end up with Seth Rollins and Bray Wyatt.
That's the solution to Seth Rollins and Bray Wyatt. The solution is Bray Wyatt and Seth Rollins both have the ability to be champion. Okay, can we agree on that fact?
Absolutely.
Okay,
sure.
So the fact is, how many guys can you name right now, just off the top of your head, that could and should, right? But could and should be, Cliff, could and should be WWE champion, could and should be in the WWE feud, the championship feud. There's so many guys that I know you can name. Exactly. And that's the reason.
Where were they?
Having
That's
NXT.
the point.
That's
Finn Balor wasn't even on the card.
Finn Balor was not on the damn card.
No problem, bro.
Finn Balor was not on the damn card. Okay?
Why wasn't he?
That's the question.
That's a damn good question.
That's the $1 million question.
But saying that, obviously...
Is he still hurt?
No, I don't think so. But
we don't think so.
But saying that obviously Bray Wyatt, Seth Rollins, and apparently Finn Balor, since he wasn't on the card, aren't the cream of the crop. That's why they weren't in the main event.
So that means they shouldn't be in Raw?
I'm not saying they shouldn't be in Raw.
Okay.
But I'm saying we need more territory to be able to establish all of this.
I'm with you.
It's obviously too.
But the SmackDown roster is good. The Raw roster is good. The NXT roster seems to be okay. So why do we need to shake that up?
You have guys that...
What we're saying is you have so much top talent.
But we don't because we're wrestling people like Seth Rollins and Bray Wyatt for nothing.
This is just Raw.
I know. That's what I'm talking about.
What you're saying is, what we're trying to say is Seth Rollins and Bray Wyatt are 2 top talents.
And the fact that Finn Balor was not even on the damn card.
They're wrestling for nothing because there's not enough titles.
Correct.
To wrestle for something.
There's not enough big, quote-unquote, big matches.
Exactly. So if you spread your top talents out throughout the 3 shows, that will give your top talents greater opportunity to work for your strap-ons.
Right. For your strap-on. And it would also make NXT a more credible show in everybody's eye if you have people like Bray Wyatt on that show.
I'm with you on that.
So I think that's a big difference.
All right, I'm with you.
Right now, Cliff and I know NXT quite well, and we talk greatly about people like Bobby Roode and Sanity, and
he's glorious.
He is glorious. He is glorious. and he will defend. But imagine if all of a sudden Dolph Ziggler's over there. You know, the feud between Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode writes its damn self. So, yet again, they'll never do this. The WWE's not going to do this. But you have too much damn talent on Raw and SmackDown. You don't know what to do with them. And you keep bringing them up from NXT. So you talk about the call-ups.
And you bring more credibility to your new talent because they are working with top talent.
It's almost like WWE, and it's almost like WWE buys another territory if NXT became bigger than what it is. And you have 3 promotions like they did with Raw, SmackDown, and ECW. I mean, that's just what it was.
That would eliminate that void from the main audience. Because now, people that move up from NXT to the main WWE roster, the main audience doesn't really know who these guys are.
Right.
You would eliminate that time gap because they would already be working with people that they know.
I agree completely. I think and yet again, that's my personal opinion. That's one thing I brought up, and some of us obviously may disagree, but that's perfectly fine. That was my solution to the cup runneth over.
I like the solution. I just feel like
of course, financially, I don't know. Yet again, I mean, I didn't crunch the numbers for WWE or anything like that.
Neither did I.
Right. But you know, yet again, there's too many guys that we talk about this all the time. Whether we're on air and we do rule the airwaves, or whether we're just in a bar getting drunk talking. There's too many damn people who are not in the main event scene. There's too many people who do not get a shot at the title that deserve it. Yeah. And, you know, yet again, and this is even in a day and age where the United States Championship and the Intercontinental Championship are bigger than what they used to be. They're being pushed as bigger than what they used to be as secondary titles, but that's still not enough. You know, and that's just the way it is. And yet again, I'll go back to his point, to Earl's point earlier about tag teams. Yeah. About maybe some guys who really are being swept under the rug a little bit, forming a tag team.
Make a tag team. Super simple.
I kind of agree like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, let me bring up a point to you, Uncle Jimmy. To relieve some of this pressure on this top talent that we have, what if the WWE were to bring back titles that they've had in the past that they've eliminated?
Like the
European,
the hardcore. Hardcore would be fun. Imagine Dean Ambrose as the hardcore champ.
Exactly.
You see, with the fact that they don't like the blood anymore, and they got trainers going in the ring, the hardcore thing's not coming back.
Well, we say they don't like blood, but they had blood tonight.
The
trainers, you're right.
The trainer came immediately into
Vince
the ring.
Is very anti-blood.
Vince is extremely anti-blood.
So, European Championship, I get it. The hardcore championship's not coming back. That's not happening.
Maybe on the other show.
Which one?
Could be exclusive to NXT, dude.
Yeah, but...
Look, and yet again,
if they don't like it in the big one, they're not going to like it in the little one.
Oh, they let
the
more happen in NXT.
The hardcore people watch NXT.
Yeah, they let more happen in NXT than they would in WWE.
All right, true.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
Still, I don't...
Look, it's a concept, and...
they could go back.
You know, I don't think it'll ever happen, but it's a concept. Because how do you fix a problem, which I guess is a good problem? You have too much talent. I guess it's a good problem, but how do you fix it? Because the fact of the matter is, you can only have 2 guys competing per time for the WWE Championship, for the Universal Championship.
I mean, it's just a thought. You know, you have a few belts that you could possibly bring out of retirement. Or, let's say, you could invent new belts. But this raises another question. How many belts is too many?
Right, because they start losing credibility. How many years was the United States Championship and the Intercontinental? Nothing. It was an afterthought. Now it means something with people like The Miz carrying it, with people like AJ Styles and Kevin Owens carrying the United States Championship. It means something at that point. And that I guess goes further to my point. I think there's too many guys on the rosters that we need to push more, and we can't because there's only limited spots.
I agree with you.
You know, we talk about always how Sami Zayn is possibly the most underutilized on our roster. We talk about Dolph Ziggler, guys I've mentioned multiple times already. Just guys that they do not know how to mess with. Even guys as low down as Apollo Crews, as Kurt Hawkins was talking about a while. Heath Slater, Rhino, just guys who could be something had they got the shot on another show. That's all I'm saying. I think it makes more sense to have it split amongst 3 shows. But, getting to the main question that everybody wants to hear. We, as wrestling fans, always have a list of our guys in our mind who are the best in the world at what they do.
I'm ready.
So I want to turn to my partner in crime, my brother in arms, Mr. Jeremy. Who would be your top 5 wrestlers on the face of this planet?
Let's see. Okay, so top 5. I'm going to start from the bottom. I'm going to say AJ Styles at 5. And I'm not saying that just because, AJ Styles, to me, it's like he's just kind of looked at as the creme de la creme right now.
He is.
In WWE. Yeah. And just for that fact, I'm just going to put him at 5 just because it's a given. That he's just, in that aspect. I'm not saying he's my least favorite, but I'll just...
I respect the way you do it.
Okay, so number 5, I have AJ Styles. Number 4, Kevin Owens.
I like the way
I like his style. I like that he's a big dude, and he can move like a cruiserweight. He can just and he takes risks, and I love it. Freaking love it.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with number 3, Baron Corbin. I like Mr. Baron Corbin. I'm honestly looking forward to the day that he cashes in his Money in the Bank and then wins the WWE Heavyweight Championship.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to that day. But I like how he has the kind of the metal. I like my heavy metal music.
Well, of course.
Got the image, the music, and I love the End of Days. I just think that move is.
Well, he has the End of Days and the Deep Six, both two great moves. I agree with you.
Number 2, I have the underdog from the underground, Sami Zayn.
Amen.
And like I said, I preached this earlier in the episode, and I will always preach it until it happens. The most underutilized guy in the company. And he has yet to win any gold since he's been on the main roster. And that needs to change. He needs gold.
I agree with you completely.
In every match he's in, he just overdoes himself. It's mind blowing that he hasn't won any gold. And my numero uno is the Demon King, Finn Balor.
Okay.
I love the whole, just his whole persona when he is the Demon King, which we haven't seen in a while, but hopefully we'll see very soon.
Right.
And so yeah, that's my top 5.
That's a hell of a top 5. And I gotta say, when we get back to me, I'm gonna go a little bit outside of WWE. I'm gonna include everything, but I'm there with you on most things that are going on.
I thought we were doing just WWE.
Are we doing just WWE?
Yeah,
I think that's what you said.
That's what we're doing. That's what you said.
I said period, but that's fine. We're sticking WWE.
Okay.
All right, cool. So I am very much a mainstreamist. Does that make sense? So
Makes sense.
in no order,
In no kind of order, I enjoy the characters.
I enjoy the people that play it up. That the whole wrestling idea.
The persona.
Yeah. The persona, the character, the showmanship, the on the mic stuff, that's what I enjoy. So my 5, in no particular order, are Big Cass, The Miz, Charlotte, AJ Styles, and Enzo, with honorable mention, Seth Rollins.
Okay, damn. Okay.
Seth frickin' Rollins.
Seth frickin' Rollins.
Frickin' Rollins, if you will.
Yes.
The Kingslayer.
Yes.
So, because all of those guys are great on the microphone, they're great in the ring, they're great in their performance, they're great in their entrance. Everything about them, they put on a show. It's entertainment. That's the whole point of this, is entertainment. And those guys epitomize that. I'm all about it. So those are my 5/6.
Not bad.
Earl
kind of went all over with that one.
Earl did his damn thing.
I was watching him make his list, and I saw him put down Charlotte, and I put a little check mark.
He
next
did.
to it,
Look, there's a little check mark on it.
because I was like, that's a
smart pick. I mean,
She's great. You know why she's great? Because the greatest showman of all time outside of Hulk Hogan is Ric Flair.
Yeah.
So when we saw her at SmackDown, and she did all the little Ric Flair things, and then she did the little
very nostalgic almost. You know,
it's fantastic.
Oh yeah, for sure.
She's
tons of charisma.
That was the best. That was the best match that happened during that SmackDown.
it was a good match.
And it wasn't because of the other person she was fighting, whoever it was. It was because of her.
You know, and I want to bring up whoever is still listening, which obviously most people are. I want to bring up the fact we're going a little longer tonight. The fact that we have 4 guys on one mic, and we're having a blast with it.
We are.
So it's 4 guys on one mic. We're happy to bring it.
I feel like we're at like an hour and a half.
Oh no, but
Like close or
much over.
Okay,
but but we're having a great time. We hope you all enjoying everything.
Jesus.
And we couldn't fit this into just an hour. We couldn't fit this into just an hour. So
no, absolutely not.
So
and you know what? I'm okay with that.
I'm fine with it, brother. I'm fine with it. Believe me. But Mr. Clifford Helms, the
Go ahead, Herbert.
the orchestrator of Cliff's Cave. What would you say, since we're sticking to WWE, that messed me up a little bit, but since we're sticking to WWE, which I guess we should, because that's basically what we're talking about.
That's exactly what we're talking
about. Well, no, I mean, like, I go a little outside with Ring of Honor, but it's basically what,
Initially, when you said it, I'll have you back, Uncle Jimmy, on this one, because I was thinking a little bit outside of the box, too.
Okay,
but once
let's do it like this.
The statement was said, I readjusted my list.
To WWE.
I am going to do a top 5, but as Mr. Earl over here, I'm not going to do in any specific order.
Okay.
But for each person, I do have a specific reason.
Okay, but are you sticking with WWE?
Correct.
Okay, so one thing I want to say then before we do that, one guy that I think were on both of myself and Cliff's list was Kenny Omega. If we were doing overall, I think Okada was another guy we needed to talk about. But as far as that goes, we're going to dismiss that. Those are 2 givens. So let's go ahead. WWE top 5.
Okay. First off, master of the mic today in the WWE, I would have to say, is the one and only Mr. Enzo Amore. To me, there is no other that is better on the mic. Like Jimmy said earlier, I can listen to this guy all night long. Mm-hmm. I can't get enough. There's nothing better.
Is the Miz, right?
The Miz is awesome.
I'm just saying, he's the only one that comes close. But I'm with you on
Well, Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt comes close. But the issue with him is he doesn't win enough matches.
Yeah.
What he preaches and stuff, he doesn't win enough. And that's WWE's creative problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
I agree.
Yeah. Another one on my list would have to be Mr. Dean Ambrose.
Okay.
For that reason,
Don Moxley.
I feel as if in this generation that we're in today, we haven't had that next generation Jeff Hardy, the type of guy that is literally willing to put his body on the line and do anything.
And a lot of things he does is Stone Cold-esque as well.
Exactly. I think that Dean Ambrose is that I'll do anything to win type of guy.
That certified badass would be enough.
And that attracts me.
Yeah.
The lunatic fringe.
Absolutely.
The next 3, coming from the type of fan that I am, I'm going to have to go within the WWE, but a little bit outside the box. 1, Mr. Finn Balor.
Absolutely.
He's just a total package. Pretty good on the mic. Excellent in the ring.
I guarantee you Finn Balor's going to be on at least 3 of these.
The thing with Finn Balor, I'm going to cut you off. The thing with Finn Balor is he doesn't really need to say much on the mic.
He does not.
His wrestling speaks for that. And
he tells a story in ring, which is something that most guys don't.
By the way, it's real and it's spectacular.
And it's damn real. Oh, you Seinfeld bastard over there.
But the thing, to add to your note that you just added to my note, is some guys are great wrestlers.
Yes.
And they can't depict a story just through their wrestling. They need to at least have some mic ability. I think Finn Balor has that aura with him where, like you said, he doesn't need to say much.
Right.
Another one is obviously the phenomenal AJ Styles.
Obviously.
Right.
Another guy on 3D's list.
He's top 2 in the world at least.
Yeah. It's arguable whether he's better than Omega or Omega's better than him or he's better than Shinsuke.
And
we can answer that question.
That will be next then.
Oh, okay. Cool.
That will absolutely be next.
And last, but absolutely not least, my fifth pick would be Mr. Strong Style himself, Shinsuke Nakamura.
Okay. Shinsuke, yet again, like we were saying earlier, is the language barrier hurts him. And it doesn't hurt him with the hardcore fans, with the fans that know his craft and know what he's done. It hurts him with people who don't know who the hell he is. Oh, this is just a Japanese wrestler. He's much more than that. Shinsuke Nakamura is, at one point, in my opinion, was the best wrestler in the world. But, that was until AJ came to, the New Japan. But as far as that goes, I couldn't agree more with you about Shinsuke Nakamura. But Mr. Cliff, is it Uncle Jimmy's time to shine? Is it?
It is.
Am I going in?
I think we're on to you.
Am I going in?
Go for it.
Wait, hold on.
Go in
if
and
this
go
is a
hard.
closing situation.
Oh, we're not closing yet.
All right, cool.
Well, we've well exacerbated what we
feel like
normally
we're like
do.
2 hours in.
2 hours.
We're 2 hours and 10 minutes in as I speak, and
We should do this more often.
we're gonna keep going. I don't care if we stop or not. It doesn't really
As
bother
long
me.
as we got beer, we good.
We got beer. Oh, it's true. It's damn true. But my top 5 stems from, it's not only in ring persona. It's not only in ring how great of a wrestler you are. It's all the way around character wise,
right.
And that's where I stem. So I'm going to go number 5, and I'm going to go with none other than the very atrociously creepy Bray Wyatt.
I like it.
Bray Wyatt is my freaking guy and has been since the start.
He was number 7 honorable mention on my list.
Oh, was he number 7 honorable mention? Bray Wyatt is a guy who, as I've said multiple times in this podcast, whoever is listening to it, you've heard me say how Bray Wyatt is underused, and I say it every damn time. Bray Wyatt is a guy who should be that damn good. Yeah. And the fact that WWE, for whatever reason, is scared to pull the trigger on him upsets me, but he is great on the mic. Let me say, before I go on, I want to say my honorable mention. And that was a real beer. That is not sound effects. That's a real beer. We're having a good time.
Absolutely.
My honorable mention is actually Enzo Amore. My honorable mention is Enzo Amore because of the fact that I'm not sure yet of his wrestling style. I'm not sure yet if he could be a singles competitor on the level of these other guys I'm going to speak about. But Enzo Amore can talk with the best of him. The promos, like I said yet again, that he put on tonight was great.
Yeah.
Tonight is going to be the night we look back on and say that's when Enzo became Enzo.
Absolutely.
And that's about where I'm going with that. Number 4 overall is going to be, yet again on another guy's list, the underdog from the underground, Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn, Bray Wyatt is used terribly. Sami Zayn may be underutilized the worst. Sami Zayn won the Ring of Honor Championship. Sami Zayn won the NXT Championship. Sami Zayn is a guy that people always underestimate and is always a great performer. Sami Zayn sells better than most of us live. Sami Zayn is incredible. Going to number 3 is none other, and it's a little bit lesser than you did, is Mr. Strong Style himself, Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke Nakamura, yet again, if you followed him in New Japan Pro Wrestling, you know how damn good he is. And you know how much of a competitor he is. But because of the language barrier, he is number 3 on the list. He's no further than that because of the language barrier. Number 2 is none other than the Demon King himself, Finn Balor. Finn Balor, yet again, being a guy who has never lost a Universal Championship and who will eventually come for Brock Lesnar and take his damn title back, is Finn Balor. Formerly Prince Devitt back in, overseas. Also, by the way, another fun fact, the person that trained Becky Lynch was Finn Balor. Finn Balor, actually, as Prince Devitt, was actually her trainer, which is actually kind of fun to think about. Is that a question?
No, I have things to say.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, and then the final, this should obviously be obvious. The number 1 wrestler on the WWE roster is none other than the phenomenal one, AJ Styles.
Because they don't want none.
Because they don't want none. And AJ Styles has long been regarded as, if not the number 1, number 2, or number 3 wrestler on the planet. And this is wrestling magazines. This is overall. This is not just my opinion. And AJ Styles is what great wrestling is supposed to be. He is a young guy. Well, he's a, long story short, he's a poor kid from Georgia. He's a poor kid from Georgia that grew up in an abusive household and made it out. AJ Styles, his life story is something that is definitely something to be appreciated and admired. And that is not the only reason, but he is also the best at his craft. AJ Styles is the number 1 wrestler in the world, and also on more luxurious Uncle Jimmy's list. Number 1.
That's a damn good list, Jimmy. Jimbo.
You know, and I know Uncle Earl over here has something to say too. But we're going to get on the fact of who's better, Omega or Styles. Me and Cliff may get on that in a second. But Earl, what else is on your mind?
Here are my thoughts. So, I look back on the greatest wrestlers of all time. So here's the deal. So, everyone that is considered the greatest wrestler of all time in the WWF, WCW, WWE, NWO, whatever, it's not because they're the greatest, fundamental wrestler. It's not because they're the greatest wrestler. It's because of the show. It's because of the things they do. It's because of everything outside of that, including what they can do in the ring. And I feel like AJ Styles has a great entrance. We talked about this. Mm-hmm. That's got a great entrance, and he's a good wrestler. And that's where it ends.
I'll say this in response to your statement, Earl. Wrestling today, and this is obvious, it's not what it used to be.
Right, absolutely.
Back in the day, in the 80s, in the 90s,
right,
it was about the persona.
Yeah, sure.
It was about the character. When Stone Cold came out and stunned Vince McMahon,
no, I agree with what you're saying. By the way.
It was the character that he was just a badass that didn't give a shit. He's like, you know what, I'm gonna go beat up a boss
But
tonight.
that's the thing. Was Stone Cold a great wrestler?
Absolutely not.
Right.
But he was a showmanship.
Ultimate
Right.
Warrior is a
And
perfect example.
That's where I was going.
Hulk Hogan
Hulk
is a
Hogan.
perfect example.
Hulk
Hulk Hogan was a crap wrestler.
Hulk Hogan
But Hulk
is
Hogan,
the example.
Hulk Hogan is the example.
Absolutely.
I agree with you.
Because wrestling is not about the wrestling. It's about the show.
But see, now
But
it's
here's the
different.
deal.
It's different
But in the Indies, it is. That's why these guys make their names. To come over here.
Right.
Yeah.
But the indies don't make any money.
That's not true.
That's not
That is completely false.
Relative to the non-indies.
Okay.
relative to WWE. Maybe not.
Okay, hear me
But
out.
That's my point.
Hear me out.
relative to
They
WWE,
make no
maybe not.
money. They make no
Hear me
money.
out.
Yeah, they can make some money. Sure,
Hear me
of
out.
course. Everybody makes money if
Hear
they
me
do
out.
anything. I'm hearing.
Prime example.
All right.
In the early 90s, well, let's say late 90s,
All
early
right.
2000s.
All right.
Let's think where we were.
I was in high school, late 90s.
Dial up, maybe DSL.
I definitely.
You have no idea what New Japan Wrestling is.
That's true. That's very true.
Okay?
All right.
We're in a place today where I guarantee you, if I put on an episode or a quote-unquote pay-per-view of New Japan Wrestling,
Or even Ring of Honor or fucking
Ring of-
Lucha Underground even. Like,
you
yeah.
will be blown away.
Right.
Now, granted, on the production side of things, they are not as up to par as WWE.
Well, they're also not as old on the international scale as
Yes.
WWE is
Yes.
as well. So that's
However, guys like the Young Bucks
yes.
hesitate to move to the WWE in fear that they will lose money because they sell so much merchandise that they are making.
Well, they would definitely have to own their own merchandise rights and come over as
Exactly.
the Young Bucks.
Exactly.
So do you think they won't sell as much merchandise if they
I'm
go
not
to
saying
WWE?
that.
No, but
I'm saying they
I don't think they would lose money on that, but that's the way they feel. That's been
Exactly.
notable about that's the way they feel. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that is a good point.
I think the hell
that is a good point. That is a good point.
Sort of, especially in this day and age where you can actually see these other products.
Exactly.
And we can see others that are worse than WWE, like TNA was. But Earl, what's going on with you?
So, so here's my thoughts. Everything you just talked about, that's cute. That's wonderful. WWE is the Mecca, if you will. I feel like that was used by someone else at some point in the 90s. But whatever. So, WWE is the Mecca. They make more money than everyone, including God. And all these cute little independent places can do all their things and sell all their shirts and do whatever they do. But who are the most successful people in WWE? The people that put on the best show. No one cares.
If that is the case, then how come some of the best wrestlers in the world have not jumped at the chance to come over to the WWE?
Because
That's a very fair
I
statement.
have an answer. Because they're not showmen. Think about this. What was the last time?
That's complete bullshit. That is headed straight toward Destination Fucked!
Cool. So when you're done, I'll finish, and then you can tell me I'm wrong.
No.
So, when was the last time we had a quote-unquote real wrestler, Kurt Angle, or someone who may have happened after that? I don't know. But the point being is that all of the most popular people, you name any of the most popular people in the WWE, WWF, WCW, NWA.
Talking about all the time. NWA, not niggas with that attitude.
Of all time. Exactly. Of all time. Alright? Of all time.
Delete.
That's staying on.
Alright? Think about it. Of all time, the best wrestlers, according to those promotions, are the best showmen. Not the best wrestlers.
That's
Right?
very true.
Absolutely.
That's very true.
So no one gives a shit.
Well, I don't know about not giving a shit though, but I get what you're saying.
They do!
I get what you're saying.
Kurt Angle was cool for like 3 years. Maybe 5.
I get what you're saying, but look at it like this. Think about it like this.
Right?
When people think about the best wrestler in WWE ever,
How
Shawn
come?
Michaels' name is always talked about. When talk about wrestler. Now, talking about the best characters, Shawn Michaels isn't even in the top 10.
Right.
Okay.
But
so
here's the deal. When you talk about the best wrestler in WWE history, you're talking about the best character.
it is World Wrestling Entertainment.
Yeah.
So, therefore,
you're talking about the best character. You're not talking about the best wrestler.
Unless you are talking about the best wrestlers. Yeah, you're right.
You have to make that distinction. You have to say, I'm not talking about the best character. I'm talking
I agree
about the
there is
best
a distinction between that.
The thing is, with WWE in the Indies, it's a different animal.
Absolutely.
The Indies
different
tell a
animal.
story in the ring. WWE does not.
I
That
will
is
say
just
this,
as
though.
simply as it is.
I will say this, though. Let's say, in a certain situation, you have all character and no capability of wrestling whatsoever. What do you have?
Nothing. You've
Jerry
done
Lawler.
nothing.
Jerry Lawler.
Nothing. You have guys like Ziggler that make people that can't wrestle worth a damn
No, he's great.
look amazing.
I'm with you. He's great. I'm with you.
And they may go down
good
as some of
comment.
the top
Yeah.
personalities because of this guy
Yeah, I
who
would've.
busts his ass day in and day
Well,
out,
hey, perfect.
making him look
Perfect example. John Cena, who is arguably the face of wrestling, or the face of WWE, rather. Okay, I've never been a John Cena
Which makes him
hater,
the face of
but I've never been a huge fan of John Cena. I like him, but I've never been like a Cena guy. Who was John Cena's first feud with? Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle, that's right.
He was with a guy who would develop him to be a great wrestler. Not that he is a great wrestler, because he's not, but he made John Cena look good. John Cena's greatest matches in the past couple years have been against guys like Kevin Owens and guys like AJ Styles. They've been against Dolph Ziggler as well. They've been against guys who could flat out go and made John Cena look better.
The thing is, back then when he debuted against Angle, Cena's moveset was so much better.
It was a lot better.
He was a lot more technical
Yeah.
than what he is now, you know? So I guess you got to take that into consideration.
But think about it. So Kurt Angle at the time was still a thing. He's still there. He's still doing well, right? He's still a good character.
It was still a thing.
He was.
Yeah.
He was still a thing. He was still a good character. And then they took John Cena, who they wanted to elevate to the next level, And they
but at the time, it
together.
definitely wasn't obvious. Nobody saw him coming until.
That's the brilliance.
Yeah.
That's the brilliance.
No, I agree with that. I think John Cena, the creation of John Cena was brilliance. I think the execution afterwards was not.
Absolutely.
And I think there was so many ways you could have boosted John Cena to be that guy in WWE than pushing him down people's throat.
Yeah.
John Cena's good enough on the mic to sell an igloo to an Eskimo.
He's there for the kids, man.
Yeah. Well, yes,
But lately, he has been showing signs.
you know what's good
of
Cena is a modern day Hogan.
First of all, his little
they're
feud with the
trying.
Miz
It's not there yet,
before
but-
Mania, his feud
he's
with the
been
Miz
a modern
was
day.
exceptional.
Oh, man.
That when he went off on the Miz, that's how Cena should be. What I'm interested in
Right.
is
Explain it
John
again.
Cena he's not retiring anytime soon, but John Cena becoming a
After he joins
part-timer,
the
whatever you want to call it,
different story.
John Cena's next half of his career,
Early 90s,
how does he
80s.
play? Does he play more to the hardcore fans, or does he play more to the kids? I think he translates out of that. I think John Cena becomes a guy you cheer for until the end of his career. John Cena is going to become a guy that even the hardcore fans cheer for because he is that guy.
I don't think you
it's
can-
more about respect now.
I don't think you
Absolutely.
can make John Cena a heel.
Hogan.
I would love to see John Cena as a heel, but I agree. I don't think you do either. You make him the fighter of evil, so to speak. You make him against Rusev, as it seems is going to happen. You make him against Jinder Mahal. You make John Cena that hero, but it's not forced anymore. It's not forced as it was.
Because now we're at a point that is just who he is. In a sense.
And John Cena is so goddamn good on the mic that it's okay.
Oh, he's one of the
Roman
best
Reigns
ever.
is not that good. That's why Roman Reigns gets booed. John Cena's not getting booed anymore. If you notice, when John Cena came, he is getting booed, but not as much, obviously. When he came out, July 4th, SmackDown,
Yeah.
he was cheered tremendously.
What is it that I said we were watching? I said, look at the cheers,
Dude,
for John Cena.
Like, John Cena is respected through and through right now. He's a guy who, first of all, I've never been down on, but he's never been my guy. But John Cena wins the Universal Championship, the World Championship. I'm with him.
Yeah.
Like, John Cena's a guy who I'm actually translating more towards now in his later years of the career. Because you look back and you see what he's actually done. And people want to hate on Cena and say, you can't wrestle, and say, the 5 moves of doom. Well, John Cena's had great matches. Now, yet again, with people like CM Punk, AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, guys who could straight up go. But John Cena is not a fluke. And that's something that I think a lot of people need to come to grips with. I know that's been Vince's guy, and that's been Vince's guy that he's pushed to everything, to be quote-unquote Super Cena. But John Cena is not bad at what he does. John Cena is very fucking good at what he does.
Oh, absolutely.
And that is, I think,
I agree.
something that people need to understand more and more. You want to hate Cena because he's been that good for so long. Because the hardcore wrestling fan, which we both are, which Jeremy is as well, the hardcore wrestling fan wants to see more wrestling. Okay, well, John Cena's not that great of a wrestler. But John Cena is the best persona that we've seen in a long time. And that's something that isn't talked about as much. When it's John Cena and AJ Styles, obviously we're cheering Styles and booing Cena, but at the same time, why do we dislike Cena?
I guess the point that I'm trying to get at is you can't have two of the same kind.
I agree.
You can't have a persona and it be lights out. You can't have a worker like a Ziggler, AJ Styles, whatever, against the same. It's not going to build that hype in that match the same as like the debut match that we all know, the first time it ever happened, Cena versus Styles.
Oh, was absolutely.
I was in a euphoria.
So was I, but
That match was...
Well, the most memorable thing about that is when AJ Styles entered the ring, and it was him and Cena face to face. They stopped talking for all of 5 minutes, and you heard, "Let's go Cena, AJ Styles. Let's go Cena, AJ Styles." That was the entire arena. And they stopped for a minute, and literally, like, you could see on both of their faces the awe that they realized they just created. Those two guys being in the same ring at the same time, looking around, seeing, like, God damn, dude, like, this is Hogan Rock. Like, this is what that is.
Up until that point,
I've ever seen.
But,
You know,
up until that point, I mean, Hogan Rock is, for me, is kind of like, but...
well, it's the fact of who would have ever...
But the thing is AJ Styles was number one on one side of the world.
Yes.
John Cena is number one on
the
this
other
side of the world.
So...
and now they're meet
together
in one ring.
And who would have ever thought that AJ... And I was talking to my buddy Brian, who hasn't been on the podcast yet, but he will be. And it's a shout-out to Brian.
Hey, Brian.
May you be safe tonight, brother, when you're patrolling the streets. But as far as that goes,
He's a cop.
he's a pig.
He is.
But but as far as that goes, me and him talked about this for years about how AJ Styles is great and how he will never be in a WWE ring. Of course, we were both wrong, thank God. But we talk about the fact of that was never supposed to happen. AJ Styles was never supposed to be in a WWE ring, and here we are.
Look what happened.
And he is. And that just shows how Vince is losing control. And Vince is not the main... he's the main voice. But he's not the only voice in that creative headquarters anymore. Otherwise, AJ Styles would not be in WWE right now. Because he was supposed to be undersized. Kevin Owens was supposed to be overweight.
Well, he is.
You know, but that was supposed to mean you can't compete in the company if you're like that. And because of Triple H, they're both there. And, you know, we've talked for years about how AJ would never be there. And to get back to Brian actually met AJ at a TNA show. And he told me, walks up to AJ and he shakes his hand. He's like, this and that. And he's talking to him. He's like, man, you know what? You would beat John Cena, huh? He looked at him and he said, you're damn right I would. That was years ago. And just so happened, he did just that. Cliff is moving an ottoman. I don't know why he's...
I hear the ottoman being moved.
Yeah, it showed.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Oh, it's okay.
The whole thing.
Cliff is doing some stretches.
I think Cliff's about to say something, I think.
I feel like he's at least preparing.
That or maybe he's the guy that's going to take the IC strap off of the
Off of Miz. The strap on. Off of Miz.
See, the problem is the wrong people are in Raw to take it from him. Like
I agree.
You got 10 guys in SmackDown that could take it from him.
Well, since the split,
It's so dumb.
Since the split happened initially, and this is even after they did the trade and shit, all that, you've had a stronger roster on SmackDown. You know, yet again, your point. You had a stronger... Talking about Baron Corbin, talking about, you know, Sami Zayn, AJ Styles, Kevin Owens.
Outside of the top card, SmackDown has a stronger roster. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Outside of the top card only because Brock Lesnar's on Raw.
Yeah, but...
Yeah, like, to me, that's the only reason. I mean, if it wasn't for Brock, you don't have a stronger card. I think top to bottom SmackDown's
Look at
better.
everybody that was there tonight. Everybody that was there tonight, I feel like the angles could be played to where Raw has the obvious upper hand on SmackDown.
Well, Raw should have the upper hand. Raw's the main show.
Absolutely.
But they don't.
But they do.
Not really.
No, right now they don't.
They really don't. Like, Raw should have the upper hand.
They should, because they're the flagship.
But this is my big question. When they had, and it's just something Jeremy may be able to help on. When they had Finn Balor was thought of as the face of Raw.
Right.
Why in the hell was he not on the show tonight? And
he's still hurt. I'm convinced he's still hurt.
That may be it.
I'm convinced.
That may be it. It would have to be it. Because why would you not have a guy who could run your damn company, who could be the guy you piggyback on like you did with Cena for years, like you did with Punk? Why the hell can he not be that guy? Why was he not in the show tonight? You know, and I know we've talked about it a little bit earlier, but
because he's still hurt.
And you may be correct.
That's all I got. That's the only explanation I have.
And we're still running here at Double J Podplex. We're going to keep going as long as we damn well feel like.
2.5 hours now? We rolling?
Yeah, 232.
Why? Because Stone Cold
Said so.
Why? Because I'm Kevin Owens.
Oh yeah, that's
Of course I could, because I'm Kevin Owens.
I mean, you're the face of America.
I'm well.
Not anymore.
Well, actually, Uncle Jimmy is the face of America. Okay.
Noted.
No,
Noted.
I am the face of America.
You know what y'all are? Y'all are all stupid idiots.
You know where we should go later?
Jabronis, if you will.
We should go to Destination Fucked.
Destination fucked.
Are people still listening? That's really the question.
Oh, probably.
I hope they are.
Yeah, I think so.
This is gold.
This is fucking gold, dude.
I'm saying, this is gold.
This isn't only gold. This is Destination Fucked.
There's Destination Fox.
Destination fuck gold. Gold. Can we pause it?
No,
Come back to it?
We're live,
we can't
man.
pause.
We're live. This is live.
Live? Cliff told me this was taped.
Oh, it's taped.
Oh, it's taped.
That's what I thought.
Looks like I sent you to
Destination Fox.
It's like 40 times.
That's like 13, I think.
Oh shit. So you want to close it up then?
Yeah, let's. Yeah, I think.
I mean, after 2.5 hours.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Well, look. Thanks for. Jesus. Thanks for listening, guys. We went a little longer than normal. Just
Yeah, a little bit.
We have two other
2.5 hours.
egos in the room. So I mean, having 4 egos around one mic should keep us going
Hold
for a
on.
long
I
time.
got something else to say.
Well, I got you coming up. But, I would first off like to thank Earl and Big Cliff.
Yes.
For being a part of this show. And we enjoyed every moment of it.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
And I'm sure they will be back with us to entertain the Double J universe.
Absolutely.
And Earl's itching. So,
I'm messing.
He's itching.
Earl's itching.
Itching's not good.
I was waiting for Earl to say something, but Earl didn't say
Oh, well, it depends on what we're itching for. Honestly, I gotta be honest. First podcast. First time hanging out with you guys in the podcast. Had a great time. I feel like it's been a great night.
Well, it's been fun. It's been
And-
fun, for real.
And
Yeah.
may or may not have run its course. So thank you very much, and I hope next time we can be a part of it again.
We would love to have y'all back whenever you'd like
Absolutely.
to, believe me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. I guess in closing, y'all all drive safe. Don't pick up hitchhikers. Don't vote for Obama again. Like, you fucked up twice. So, but
Now, why you gotta get political?
Right, yeah.
You know? Why you went?
You could have went LeVar Ball, and I would have been alright
You know?
with that.
Oh, I will go LeVar Ball.
You know?
And first of all, I want to know why Cliff's hollering. And secondly, we would like to let you know this is the second time of many that we're not only sponsored by Custom Vapors, we are sponsored by our new affiliate, the Big Baller brand.
And I still want my shoes.
He still
Yeah.
wants the shoes. LeVar, I'm coming for you, baby. Get big.
We out.
We out.
Goodbye.
The next Universal Champion, LeVar Ball.